Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Baka podcast.
Baka.
It's amazing how every time you open your mouth, you prove you're an idiot.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Baka. We're an anime podcast where every 2 weeks we come together to watch an anime, discuss it like a book club in that kind of format, and then we turn that discussion over to you in our comment sections, in our emails, on our website. We have a website. You should go to our website. I'll tell you about it at the end. Come to the end with us, and we'll tell you about the website. Anyway, before I introduce my co-host, I have a few items of business. Today we're talking about 2B Hero X. And there's a little bit of a caveat. It's not an anime. It's a donghua. Did I say that right?
I think it's a donghua.
Yes. Donghua. It's a donghua. Thank you. Not that I wouldn't have picked it anyway. I just didn't know that at the time of the picking and wish I had said something in the episode so if people are purist and, hey, I only want to discuss anime from Japan, they would know that going in. So I'm just warning everyone now, if that's an issue for you, go ahead. Aniplex did work on this. There is Japanese animation in it, but technically...
You didn't warn us.
This is from China. I didn't want to
watch stuff.
Review experience.
We've watched stuff not from
we've
Japan
watched
before.
Mm-hmm. One or two, I think.
Solo Leveling is a Korean manga or comic, but it's still a Japanese anime. So I don't know if we've had any. Doesn't matter. Other points of business. This is a 24 episode anime, and normally we would have stopped halfway, which is what we announced we would be doing, but we didn't. We kept going because one of us got sick, and instead of delaying the anime or the podcast, we just kept watching. So we're going to be discussing both halves. We did write down our initial thoughts halfway through before we started episode 13. We'll read those at the time.
You have them, right?
Yeah, I have them. I kept them. We'll find a time to read them so you can at least kind of know where we were at the halfway point and then kind of finish off. Actually, we should do it before the full initial reviews. Yeah, and other than that, I think we're mostly caught up in our releases, so I'm excited about that. Now let's go back to the actual podcast to discuss the 2B Hero X. I need the help of my co-host with his donghua hot take. He's the lean to my ling. It's Jeremy.
I don't know if it's a hot take, but there's a few that I've seen that are really, really highly rated, and I want to see them. There's one that's got like this dark-haired guy and this white-haired guy, and it's supposed to be about time and something. Really want to check it out, but I don't remember what it's called right now. Yeah. There's even like 3 seasons of it, I think.
Fantastic. We also have the new to my wang. It's Jason.
For me, I kind of don't care where it comes from. Is it a good story?
And my name is Troy, and my hot take is cliffhangers. Are they bad in China?
You can just say anything and then go in China at the end. Okay, I like that. I should have done that.
All right. Yeah, so let's start talking about this anime with our non-spoiler reviews. Jeremy, why don't you start us off?
Are we doing all 24 review or first half review?
Oh, yeah. Do you want me to read your guys' first half so you can go into your...
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Let's get them out of the way.
Let's get them out of the way. I saved them in my photos. That is a picture of my butt.
So many questions I don't want to ask.
Yeah, like that'd have to be intentional.
Stop. No asking questions. It engenders them, but we're going to pretend that we don't have them.
No asking questions.
All right. Jeremy's review. He gave the first half a 4 out of 5. I love the anthology format and how it flows backward in time. It's a little bit of a brain twister to try and keep things straight, where each character and arc fits into the overarching story. But the individual arc seems a bit hurried or clumsy, reaching for impact they didn't earn. The Queen fight was beautiful. The Trust Sphere power system is interesting, but it comes off a bit too social credit scory. I'm going to save Tanya's take for you.
Okay.
You like my Jeremy impression?
I did. It was
Yeah.
elegant.
All right. Let's read Jason's.
I see.
Don't worry about it.
I'm worrying.
Hero X review.
You know who has the
Overall,
recording before you get it? Just saying.
I have no fear. You have the memory of a goldfish. By the time this is over, you won't remember we did this. Overall, I'm disappointed with the storytelling. The switch from groups of characters going backwards in time is too jarring for my taste. I have huge issues with the story and the world building, which I hope are fleshed out and fixed in the next 12 episodes. I don't like how they've introduced 3 sets of characters and left on huge cliffhangers. I did like the first arc the best. The art and changing animation styles is not nearly as jarring as I thought it would be, and all of it is beautiful. I really liked it. There are some story beats I'm looking forward to see completed, but right now, I'm at a 2 out of 5. And I wrote
If you can
4 out
find
of
it.
5. A little uneven, as many anthologies are, and so far its best story was its first, but the random story threads that tie them together and tell a larger overarching story are neat. There's some great theme storytelling going on, but the concept of corporations spoiling a world of heroes isn't original in itself. The power system and presentation is what makes this unique. My biggest issue is inconsistent tones across each story. Love the power system and look forward to seeing it explored more fully. More 3D, please. Which, yeah, I don't agree with that last sentence anymore. But hey, Jeremy, what'd you think about the whole thing? The whole 24 shebang?
So I still like the way that it portrayed like stepping backwards in time, telling it from that angle. I thought that was a really interesting way to do it. I know years ago when The Witcher first season came out, we accidentally did that and it made the show really interesting. Because you're just trying to figure out like, okay, why did this happen? But having it actually be a part of the intentional structure of the show was pretty cool. But I will say it was also a bit disorienting. And I don't know if that's just the way that they did it. Maybe they could have done it better, but I did find myself a little bit confused and out of sorts with like, okay, where exactly does this fit, and what about this? We didn't always jump straight back either, so you know the that
A-
still is
a-
pretty cool.
Actually, I think from starting points, it's the first arc is the most forward, and then it's back
hmm
the farthest and forward each time, even though they overlap each other a little bit.
hmm Yeah. Um, and I did a little tiny bit of research because I wanted to know like the numbers. I was like, is there somewhere that shows the trust value of these characters? um,
Of course.
and I didn't find that. But in the process, I discovered that there's actually something pretty interesting going on here that is really cool. And that is the official site on Bilibili lets you essentially assign or support with your quote unquote trust value the different heroes, and then that is supposed to change the way that the story plays out over time. So I don't know if I like that or if I dislike that, but it's an interesting thing and I do like the idea of exploring it. um Involving the the public in the story as you're telling it is a really cool idea, but at the same time, will your story suffer for that? Like, are you really telling a story? But
Yeah, I was gonna wait to tell everyone that one. Only
I
because I
figured.
don't, I I couldn't find any confirmation it has affected the story yet. Because yeah, I found the
Right.
rankings and they did say based on how these popularity contests go, it's going to affect how they perform going
Yeah, media
forward
going forward.
in part
Mm-hmm.
2.
Mm-hmm.
But and there's a character who's missing from the tournament and a character who's in the tournament that you would think wouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they did have an effect or they didn't, and I couldn't find confirmation. I just saw a lot of people rallying for their heroes.
Yeah.
Um, when I was trying to find something. So
Yep. But I stumbled across it. I figured I'd throw it in here now just in case anybody just dips out after the spoiler-free reviews.
fair enough.
But I think that's a really cool idea, and that's gonna have weird effects, even if that's just your intention, because you're gonna leave things a little bit open-ended in your storytelling, so that you can support all the different possibilities, or at least support them more easily than if you had a complete end-to-end story. So I'm taking that into account a little bit, that this they're doing something weird here, and that is affecting the story. And I think that's maybe why sometimes it feels a bit meandering, and it feels a bit it's weird because it's meandering and rushed, right? Like sometimes it's like they're taking too long on certain things. Other times it feels like they're rushing through character development moments and maybe having emotional impact scenes that don't feel earned, at least not to me. Um, and so it's hard to get behind them. I had a really hard time with a lot of the musical score whenever they would start singing and I could understand them. I was like, no, I shouldn't understand you. That's ruining the music for me. I don't want to understand what you're saying. I just want to hear the sound of the music, and the singer's voice is fine, but I don't want to understand what you're saying. So that really bugged me. But the art is stunning, especially the way it plays with the different art styles. That was so cool. When I went into this after seeing the trailer, that's what I wanted. And so we didn't get a ton of that where you would have like dynamic changes between art styles within the same episode. You didn't get a ton of it, but when it did happen, it just blew me away. It was one of the coolest things I've seen in anime. Um, and yeah, there's more I could say, but I'll leave it open.
All right, Jason, your thoughts?
Uh, I'm having a tough time with it because, like with Jeremy, the jumping around from time period to time period, groups of characters to groups of characters, I had a hard time following the story. I don't know if it's just because I'm dumb or it's because there wasn't a thread for me to grab onto. I really liked Lingley in the first half, and to get a giant cliffhanger at episode 4, and then we literally never see him until what, episode 23 or 24. It because they spent just enough time to get to know the characters, and then they just went off to another group. I had a hard time investing any sort of emotional attachment to any of the characters after that point. I just didn't care. And I think that's probably where a bit of my disdain comes from. Also, there's a lot of MacGuffins. There's a lot of stuff that they just went, well, it has to happen this way so the story can do the thing we want it to do. And we'll get to some of that. Because there's like a few inconsistent beats where it's like the hero could do this, but then this happens to him, even though we've shown that they currently have the power, they haven't lost any trust value, but this thing happened to them because they couldn't do a task. It's like it felt forced. I like the commentary that they're trying to do with the corporations and social credit score and like that critique. However, I think it could have been done better if we had a few there's too many characters. Just flat out for me. There's just too many characters. But yeah, I still loved all the animation styles. They did a really good job. There was obviously a lot of budget put into the 3D. And then also a lot of the 2D stuff was 3D mixed with 2D. And it was gorgeous. The fight scenes were great. So there's a lot to like in this anime. I just, I didn't like their approach to how they went to go about telling an overarching story.
Okay. Well, like I had said in my first half, I really like the anthology storytelling they're doing. I'm completely the opposite boat. I like that we're getting little chunks, and then we get to put the puzzle pieces together. And I actually thought they helped us out, especially at the end. They're like, "Oh, here's how they all lined up." I'm like, "Yeah, I figured that out by now," but I guess thank you for showing me the timeline. But like I had this big theory And, I was telling these guys like I have this theory, and I'm gonna touch on it in a second because I want to talk about the art styles. But I had this big theory, and then an event happened, and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize the second arc is way back in the past from the first arc. I had assumed we had moved forward in time. It tells you on the screen like where you are in time, but you don't really have a reference point at the beginning, and you're not.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it was important. I just thought it was like, oh, this could be a 6 months later or 6 months earlier. It didn't matter, and then I found out it did. So when I watched the second half, I put a lot more focus on okay, where are we in the years? What hero tournament are we looking at? Who's currently the X? Who's recently lost it? All that mattered. Tracking the CEOs and all this stuff. So I had a lot of fun chewing on it. There's a lot to think about in there in the storytelling, and I felt in the second half the it really started humming. I liked the first half and the way they connected, but the second one is like, hey, this character's B plot line is this character's A plot line,
Mm-hmm.
but their B plot line is this character's A plot line, and they really started stacking on top of each other. Where there's the characters you just met are still here, and it became more of a linear narrative, but still with that
Mm-hmm.
anthologic, yeah, that
Anthology.
taste,
Yeah.
anthology style. And I felt like, oh, now you're really clicking, you're really humming, and I don't think they can do it in the first half just because this entire season is the up of a roller coaster. We and not just an up on a roller coaster because that's what Jason like. They had the little narratives have their fun. You get big battles. There's a lot of payoff and enjoyment to be had, but it's a up elevator of world building. You need to understand the full context of this world, and the way we've done it is little mini stories placed throughout time. So now you understand the full context, and I don't think we still do. I think there's a little bit more of that to
Exactly.
come. But I think the directors even said the part two is like for the story. Part one is you need to care about all these characters, and now that I've taken this time, we can all pay off. I'm looking forward to that. As long as they do it right, it's a lot of pressure on the second half of the season. You've really got to have a good drop on your roller coaster and a couple loop de loops to make that climb worth it.
I
So
think you
far,
also
I think it's good.
sorry. I think you also have to like really ask a lot of your audience when you do that, because if you take any other 24, 25 episode anime that we really like, there's a lot more completion of the story, and it's more satisfying at the end, I think. Like take Made in Abyss, for example, right?
Hmm.
Like you learn about the characters, you learn about the setting, you learn about the story, and yet you still have a conclusion of an arc at the end that is really satisfying.
I
And
You don't even get to
I
the bottom.
normally I normally would agree,
Mm.
except for I think they very smartly chose to do the anthology storytelling because of that very reason, so that you can still have characters having arcs and achieving goals.
Well, then
Um,
see, that's where I think it's the issue of really asking a lot of your audience, because you have to make sure that those little mini arcs are going to be satisfying enough to replace the
yes,
major arc. And when half of your mini arcs are to establish rules, settings, powers, things like that, which I'm thinking of like the first half of the 24 episodes, you're learning about mechanics, and you're learning about who is where and who is who. Sometimes an entire character arc is just based on that. And I think that's why it took off much better in the second half, is because once that's established, then these other characters you could focus on more story beats instead of as much fluff. But yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think
right,
maybe that's
and
why it's
I
so
should
hard.
to touch on it just a little bit. We'll get into it more in the spoiler section, but I do
Mhm.
think anthology wise, some stories are better, and that's normal, right?
Yeah.
I watch Sex, Death, and Robots. You get some really great stories in there, and you get some real stinkers, and that's just
Yeah.
anthology storytelling. They take swings and some hit. Um,
Mhm.
I think like there's one that I had liked the least. There's one I liked the best, but I felt mostly they were all very satisfying. Second half, like I said, hummed a little bit better. And the one thing I just want to say about the art style, because I had a theory that the art style was lore
Mhm.
relevant, and we
Mhm.
find out it's not.
Mhm.
And I wish they had just kept it lore relevant. Um, I'm sure the 3D seems to be more expensive because they definitely steer away from it later. They don't go back to it. I wish they had just made. I love what the X character can do, and it's beautiful and it's amazing. And I wish we had just kept it to his appearances.
Yeah. Which is not a
Be-
spoiler. It's in the trailer.
it's in like they did tech demos
Mm.
to show off how the animation would switch and what he can do. He's very
It's
much
so
all
weird,
over the
though.
marketing.
Because like the whole thing about 3D was you can animate more cheaply, like it's less expensive. So to me, it's really strange. Like they must be using new techniques or something that are more expensive than.
Yeah, or it's time instead of money. I don't know what it
Maybe.
is, but yeah, they clearly were like, okay, well, we have to be done with that now for a while,
Yeah.
and we'll bring it back
Yeah.
when it's
Pretty-
super duper important.
Pretty sure the 2D overlay is less time to render.
Mm.
And
So
there's a
that was
couple
probably
2D animations too. So you do have multiple animation teams working on different projects. Like clearly, episode 23 is its own very unique style, a different animation group than whoever's done, most of the other episodes that have. We've talked enough about pre stuff. Let's keep going forward. um, we need a Tanya Take theme song.
Mhm. It's the best because it's different every time. I love it.
Next time, can we get some lyrics though?
No. Okay,
Go
when they're playing the theme song to get people off stage at award shows, do you hear lyrics? No.
In my
Are
head.
you saying you're trying to get me off the stage? I thought you
No.
were like heralding me onto it.
Okay, I'm gonna get
Also,
myself off the stage here in
no-
a moment if you don't keep going.
Number one reason I don't watch award shows: lack of lyrics when they play people off stage. Jeremy,
it.
Tanya's take.
So the first half, she was having a really hard time, wanted to drop it. But once the second half got rolling, she really enjoyed it. The art is great. She does not like the eyes, though. Says that she prefers most Japanese drawn eyes. Just doesn't like the way any of the eyes were drawn in this. Um, but the character designs are great, and otherwise the art is great. Fights are great. Character stories are great. So very, very high opinion of the anime as a whole.
Just to reiterate, some of the animation is Japanese. There had to have been Japanese eyes in there somewhere. I can't 100% clarify. I couldn't find anything that's like, oh, this arc was this group, this arc was this group, but there's Japanese animation. Okay, it doesn't
I
matter.
thought when I was looking at the studios, they were all Chinese studios. Was there an
Aniplex is part of it, and they
is
do.
Aniplex just organizing the whole thing and then using those
I
studios?
thought they were helping with the animation too.
Maybe.
All right. Opening and closing time. Jason.
Both were great. I enjoyed both of them.
Me too. I thought they were awesome. The first one, the OP was gorgeous, and that music is just great. The ED I didn't like at first, but the more that I heard it, the more I liked it, like the spotlight. But again, I think it's just because I prefer Japanese subtitles, and so anytime that I can understand what they're saying, I'm like, no, that sounds so cheesy. Don't say that. I don't like this anymore. So that's probably my fault.
As someone who watches the English dub, I was actually really excited I could understand the lyrics to the theme songs. The OP, okay, the OP is fire. It's on the playlist. The animation shifts in it are so cool. The heart that's in chains, but the chains are the numbers of the trust values. The links were literal numbers. I was like, oh, okay, that's so cool. And I love how the OP is like, yeah, I'm gonna be a superhero. I'm gonna save the day, pump up, and it kind of builds up that almost like a My Hero Academia kind of vibe. And then the ED is like this: we're all slaves, and you got to break free of fate. and the visuals really matching that of the X character shattering the ground beneath everyone tumbling down as they come to grips with the real reality of the world. Very much fit the themes of the anime and was a great like into it to get bumped up, and then yeah this world sucks, remember. So that was cool. I thought they were both fantastic and deserving more than one sentence.
Aniplex is the producer. The studios are all Chinese.
Really?
Mhm.
Some of them
PB
felt
Animation, Land
so
Studio, and
Japanese
Paper
to me.
Crane.
All right. All right, that takes us to right before the spoiler warning. We're going to talk about the next anime we're going to watch, which is Clevatess. Clevatess?
I think
I
that's how it's
honestly don't know,
pronounced.
but
Yeah.
it looks good.
Crevice.
Where?
Croissants.
Yes.
Yeah, Clevatess. It is about a king of monsters bad guy who adopts a kid
Yeah. And
for nefarious or good reasons
it
to be
seems to
determined.
be, yeah, seems to be morally gray. And like the town he destroys in the very beginning, did it deserve it? We'll find out.
All right. So now actual spoiler warnings for To Be Your Hero X. Stuff's not resolute, so we'll have theories. We'll have definitely a lot of characters, definitely a lot of plot points. I am going to try for a faster recap style, so let me know if that works for you. I'm kind of assuming everyone's seen it, and then we'll just call out scenes that are important to us. Let's see how that works, especially because we have a lot to get through. All right, we start off in 3D in a world. Let's talk about the world. We live in a world where
Near
an
future.
event has near future. An event has happened where now the trust people have in someone literally gives them superpowers. The more trust they have, the stronger those superpowers grow. And this has made the whole world topsy turvy, as we will learn going forward, like how deep this all goes, conspiracies, and how governments and corporations play into it. But I just wanted to touch with you guys how you felt about the power system, because I'm sure it's coming up, and might as well just rip the Band-Aid off.
I didn't have too many complaints with the trust system because again, it's a direct correlation to stardom and terminally online culture, and social credit scores, stuff like that. I thought I liked that. The way we'll learn about another system called fear. I'm not 100% sure how it fits in. Maybe you guys can help me with it. I have some thoughts and like what the story was trying to say, but yeah, we'll get to that. Once they had a particular level of trust, sometimes their powers seemed inconsistent, so the system itself I was okay with.
Mm-hmm. I love the idea of the system, and I think most of the time it was executed pretty well. But there's such strong variance between the power scale value. So, for instance, we see a character who has a trust value of 0, and he beats up someone that's all powered up.
Yep.
Yeah, he takes a beating, but he beats up someone who's powered up. And then we see another character who has a value of 0, and then as soon as he gets like 1, all of a sudden he has really powerful abilities, like lightning shoots out of him and stuff. And then there's another character. So it's like so many characters, when they cross that threshold from 0 to like 1, they get some kind of really big power boost. But then you have other characters who are already in the teens and they're not really described as having a large power boost, and they don't demonstrate having a large power boost. And then you'll see the numbers go up to like 5, 6, 7 digits, and then they're like, "Oh yes, now I'm superhuman." So it's really hard to gauge like, okay, just how weak is a character that has 2 digits or 3 digits compared to one that has 5 or 6. There's even times where there's characters on the chart that we see at the end, or they're talked about being certain levels in the commission, and lower levels actually beat higher level characters. And so then I'm wondering, okay, so is it not proportionate to the trust only? It's also got to do with the type of power. And this power is just more powerful. So less trusts, he's more powerful, even though he's got less trust. Um, there's also instances where I was kind of wondering, like, how many people can you give your trust to, right? Is it a one person per hero? Or do you believe in all of them? And so they all get a number? ticked up, right? And so like a lot of those different things just are bouncing around in my head, and then seeing how quickly and how fickle that those numbers are, where we have two characters in the first few episodes that are like, well, even more than that, because people see what's happening, their strength just rises and falls so much. And I mean, yeah, you could think of it as like, hey, it's an arena, and the crowd is cheering for the thumbs up and the thumbs down, right? And they're easily swayed, and so they're fickle. But um that seems like such a dangerous proposition that, like, I would think there would be so many more safeguards around allowing any fight to be visible, unless you were desiring to tank that person. And that's not always the case, but I don't know. There's just so many weird things about the system and how fragile it is. Being a hero to me seems like the most horrifying thing, especially because other people decide what your powers are, and they decide what you pay for those powers and what restrictions and limitations are put on you, which we learn more about later. But when you bundle all that up together, like, I love that idea. I think that is the coolest thing. But I don't think the world, at least not obviously, treats it as horrible and dangerous as it is. Now, we do see some characters later that are like, you can tell it's a really heavy weight on them, but it just seems like it would be more in the forefront to me. So I think it's a really cool system, and I want to see more with it.
And just real quickly to what you're saying, when they cross that threshold from 0 to 1, it's very accepted within the society that most people have some sort of trust value, because it's like, oh yeah, you can't get this job or you can't join this company if you
Right.
have no trust, because and everyone has this number on them. Well, if that's the case, if you got a 0 trust guy that just gets 1, but he's fighting a couple guys that might have 8 or 10. Yeah, so that's some inconsistency I saw as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I had the same thoughts as you guys. I saw the guy get the 1 and he starts winning a fight, and it's like, oh, is 1 that important? Someone catches an axe 2/3 of the way already through the air and manages to throw it back and kill a person. And there's stuff that seems out of whack with the system. We see a character who's extremely powerful without any trust. And then we learn, hey, there's fear out there. The more I thought about it, the more I came to the decision, and this is, not everyone's going to agree with me. This is probably more of a theory than anything, is that trust, first of all, it's the wrong name. It should be belief. It's how much people believe in you. And it's more about quality than quantity. If they believe you have superpowers, you get superpowers. If they believe you're a really good accountant, you don't get superpowers. You can have a 500 trust value if people believe you're really good at accounting. All you get is to be good at accounting. I think it does seem also to come with strength boosts and stuff. So, but like you said, everyone's walking around with some trust value. It's weird. It's odd to have a 0. They're called out, and so I don't think. Again, I came to it's more quality than quantity. Um, I also think there's more than just trust and fear out there. We see a character who reacts specifically to anger and gets stronger. We see a character again with no trust who's able to be powerful. Yes, Big
Who
Johnny.
reacted to anger?
Big Johnny reacts to other people's anger and gets stronger.
Oh, I thought he was just getting angry. I did see that it would sync up his eyes with other
Yeah,
people's
yeah.
eyes. But I didn't
And I
realize
thought it
that
was
he
I
was
thought it
just
was just little
reflecting.
Johnny, but then they did it with Loli, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, he's channeling.
feeds off of it.
I think so. My theory is, in this world, the government and these corporations have come to a slight understanding of this trust power system that is enough for them to control it, and they're like, that's good enough. At least we can steer this, we can manipulate this, we can do what we need to do, and that's what we're going to do. But I think it's more than they understand at this point. I don't think the character X can live in the system that they have as they have explained it. So it's got to be more. But I don't have absolute proof. Again, this is more of a wild theory. But I'm not at the point where I'm mad they have a 1 and we're able to win, because that 1 was, I believe this guy is a superhero who can save me, and that 1 was enough to get that done.
Um, which character has no trust? You're saying that's X? He has
Yeah.
no trust?
Correct.
He had no trust when he won his first tournament. No one knew who he was.
I don't remember that I ever saw a Zero. I remember they said no one knew who he was, like they couldn't identify who his real identity was, but I never saw a Zero.
But they never
I guess
showed
that's
any
true.
any numbers on him.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, I've never seen them show his numbers,
And
but they're also worried that he's going to become a god.
but his
So
Right.
he mentions that basically he doesn't use this system to be powerful.
I remember him talking about how he doesn't want to use what they've created, like the commission, but I didn't understand that to mean the trust system.
We're just gonna label this theory. I just don't have a problem with it because I don't think it's fully fleshed out. I don't think we have our full understanding of it yet. The fact that there's a special material on a ship that, hey, it can contain it, and that happens to have the animal that gets stronger with fear,
Mhm.
or not fear, with anger.
Anger.
I think there's more to it. And there's one other thing. I think self belief is inherently part of it, and
Yeah.
they do have a character mention that, and the other character goes, I don't like it when you say that. And so it's not, is that real or is that just his personal belief? But I had that thought at the end of the first arc at that fight, is that his self belief was stronger than the other guy's fear. And also when we get to it, I think Lin Ling is able to reject fear. He's like anti-fear because we'll get to it.
Hmm.
But anyway, just for the powers, I also think the power system is really cool. I love the caveat that, like, if they believe you're perfect, now you have OCD. They believe you can't sit down, now your knees don't bend, because you're
They
the
believe you're
hero that
silent.
stands
You
tall.
can't
Yeah,
talk anymore.
yeah. I love that. I think that's so cool. All right. We're gonna go forward in the story. So we're forward in the timeline. We meet our first main character, our first hero. His name is, well, he will be here. His name is Lin Ling. Your guys' thoughts on Lin Ling?
I liked his story. I thought it was interesting that he's like, I want to be a hero. I don't know if I ever will be, but at least I'll promote them. And so he's an advertisement guy that's like writing these advertisements for heroes, and so like he knows a lot of the heroes better than they know themselves in some cases, as far as their hero persona is. And what ends up happening to him is probably one of the coolest, like it's almost slice of life hero story I've seen in a while. And it's a good introduction to, you know, what we're gonna be looking at and looking forward to. I think he handles his daily life. This is a problem I end up having with a lot of characters in this anime. He's shy at first, and he's also got a low self-confidence and low self-esteem. And then the next arc will meet someone with even lower, and then after that it's even lower, and it's like this is so exhausting. Anyways,
Jeremy?
Oh, okay. My turn. I thought it was pretty good. I like this character. He's interesting. I did think, like, my biggest issue with him is his power thing at the very end when he beats God Eye, but how he behaves in his relationship with Moon is really cute. I thought it was nice. And how they introduced that, like, foreshadowing. I still don't understand why he saw that, but
I wish I did.
yeah, yeah. But it was really intriguing. Like, this was obviously this. I think they knew this was the 3 episode rule, right? Where, hey, we got to land a hook here, so let's throw in great art. Let's throw in really interesting, weird stuff, like having Nice kill himself by walking off the side of a building, and and at the same time introduce some of the rules of this power set and just how potent it is. This belief that people can have that it can actually turn you into a hero just because you look like them and pretend to be them. If people believe it, they've now anchored to you and routed that information into you. That's really cool because it's not just him. We see it happen later with another character. And So tying that together, I thought this was a really well put together, succinct arc with this character. So I like him. They did a good job with him. It's also interesting that he's still kind of like nice, but he just has like a fringe of white just at the very front. So I don't know. Like all of his combat training is basically the time that he spent as nice. So I don't know how he's going to draw away from that character when we see him in the tournament arc in the second season.
I agree that he's a really strong character to start off with. He's really likable, especially because he's like, I'm an everyman working guy, getting busted by my boss. I'm trying hard, just trying to get by. I idolize these celebrities, superheroes in the sky. And then he gets a crash course on their reality. And I didn't find his self esteem that low. I actually was really impressed with how forward he was despite the situation and moved a relationship forward. And I was really cool to see a relationship moving forward early on, despite the way it ends.
I didn't have all that many problems with his self-esteem.
Okay, yeah. So we'll talk about the second arc guy, and I actually agree with you on that one. But yeah, this Lin Ling, I just thought he was a good start. I did spend the whole series like, oh, I want to know what he's up with. I can't wait till he meets X. How does he affect things? Which is what this is all set up to do. It's supposed to leave you wanting more, and it does. So the character is working for me. So his story, like I said, he's a guy in an advertisement place, getting busted by his boss. Goes out on the roof, sees the number 11 hero. Number 15? No, he's 15.
Yeah.
Nice is 15. Nice walks off a building and dies. Having witnessed this, he's kidnapped by the marketing team or managers of this superhero who realize, he looks just like him. If we dyed his hair and dressed him up, he could pass as the superhero, which they do. And then since people believe he's the superhero, his physical appearance continues to change. His eye color changes. So physically, you can be changed by trust, which is what I think was the big point of this arc. Yeah, and eventually he poses so long. They're like, okay, you're ready. You're gonna go on a game show with Nice's girlfriend, who he likes. While they're there, though, a 249th hero near the bottom of the barrel is like, hey, I think you heroes are fake and I'm going to expose you. And he's asking him questions like, how many commercials has Moon been in? And since this guy made all those commercials, he knows the exact answer. He even goes through a lie detector test, but what is he? The Enlightener pulls out the advertisement manager you screwed over, and now he's corrupted by the power of fear, which everyone's just like, oh yeah, we all know what that is. It's dangerous. And he turns into a giant monster. And Lin Ling gets hit by the fear and it starts to get corrupted and then resists it, which I do think is important, but we never see it again.
He got hit by it? I don't even remember that.
Yeah, it's literally crawling up. It's crawling
to me at the
you
time.
right, yeah. It's like, oh yeah, that's a thing fear must do, and you're able to push it away or give into it, but this is the only time we see anyone push it away. Which I think matters in the God Eye fight. Which is the only reason I'm really pointing this out. And yeah, he with self-determination and believing in Moon, believing in him, he beats his boss, whose evil attack is termination letters shot out.
Really sharp termination letters.
Yeah.
It looked like people got hurt.
He's then allowed to go to Nice's living quarters because there's this big tower where all the heroes live, and depending on your ranking, you get to live on your level of your ranking. So number one hero lives on the top, and then on the way down. Goes in, his girlfriend Moon is there. And I was like, oh, they're not going to do like cheeky anime stuff where he's like, ooh, she's asleep, fando. Nope, he just covers her up with a blanket, and then, but when he looks at her, she's dead.
Yeah. Yep. And then he just goes to sleep. Because then he wakes up.
And then he wakes up. So it's not like we see him crawl into bed and say, oh, well, he just wakes up the next morning and she's on the treadmill and running. then we find out, hey, their relationship is all fake. She doesn't even like Nice. Nice doesn't like her. He's an OCD freak, and she already had realized this is a fake Nice. And she doesn't care. She's like, well, then I get to leave. And Miss J, their manager, is like, nope, you guys need to get married. I need to sell this. I need to make this work, and locks them for a month in this room where they actually do some bonding. There's some meet
I
cute stuff going on.
I love that her power is teleportation. She has a teleport gun, but because people believe that she needs to be near it nice all the time, whenever she does a portal, it's always too nice. So it's like her portal gun's useless unless she's really far away from nice for some reason.
I love that because I was like, oh, you see again how the trust system can be a double-edged sword, and then soon we see the fight and the way she uses it in the fight, and I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great setup, great payoff. I love the whole thing. Again, at this point, I was just like, this is working for me.
Yeah.
Hey, a character's dead at the end of the first episode, and now they're not, and I'm like, ooh, mystery box.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. That was an okay cliffhanger.
We're saving that. They Nice comes up with a plan that, hey, let's pretend to get engaged, and then you'll die, and then you can be free and quit the hero business. And Miss J is fine with that because she can sell tragedy for ratings. So they go through this whole thing, but Nice's real arch enemy shows up and attacks him, and then we find out it's actually his best friend from high school, and they went through the hero program together, and it's only a pretend arch nemesis to help with the ratings, and he's missing his best friend. And I think it would be more than that, but again, this was made in China, so he's just missing his best friend.
Yeah.
Moon gets shot, and everyone is sad, and it seems real, but then we find out it was all part of the fake out, and so she can use her teleporter anywhere. She puts it to a deserted island and walks through the teleporter and leaves it behind.
I do like, and I might be reading into it, but like there's this moment where she's standing there and she's like surprised, and like blood starts falling from her suit, and it seems like she didn't think that she got hit, but apparently she did. She's like, oh no, I don't know if I want to go through with this now. Well, now it's too late because now everyone sees blood on me, so
Right.
I guess we're going through with it.
What you think, when I'm watching it, I'm thinking, oh, she really died. The plan went wrong because the guy really was attacking them. He was really freaking out that his best friend was gone, knew there was an imposter in place. Nice is going all out in the fight and really using his powers. And then you find out she's been hit, and you're like, oh, no. I thought she really died. And she's like, I guess I regret this. But now you realize, oh, she was just talking about the relationship, had actually come to like Lin Ling, and was kind of bummed that she was leaving. But still did it. To the beach she goes. And then we catch up with Enlightener and what are they called? Not Periscope. Spotlight. The group Spotlight is like, hey, want some fear to become stronger? And he's like, yes. And he becomes God Eye, the evil villain. The next episode is about Nice helping another hero defeat his arch nemesis. The hero is Firm Man. This is the guy who literally can't bend his legs, and we find out the villain is actually a kid he saved a long time ago who realizes this man just wants to sit on a toilet and is trying to expose the truth that he's not the kind of guy who stands tall. He was just a strong firefighter so that people's belief will change. Nice helps out. He gets Firm Man's apartment, who's like, oh my God, I can sit on a toilet. I'm so happy. And he's no longer going to be a hero. Again, showing the double-sided sword, really pushing that. But now Nice has become number 10, and that's important. But then God Eye appears with Moon, revealing that he's a fraud. He's found out his true identity, and Nice's numbers start dropping. But the people who do believe in him are like, don't go and risk yourself being exposed more. So he doesn't have the willpower to leave his apartment. Eventually, basically abandons being nice, turns into Ling Ling and goes, and then battles again God Eye, whose name I'm gonna remember,
as like a normal dude. He's like
As a
not
normal-
superhero.
and-
He's just like fisticuffs.
Mhm.
And Godai already beat a hero who can like punch the memories out of you.
Yes.
And yeah, Lin Ling goes and fights him and manages to win. And as the crowd is watching, although they're like, "Oh, he betrayed us," they're like, "Well, he's fighting for true love, though. He really does care about Moon." And they start rallying to him, and he gets it again. He starts with one, and he starts being able to fight back even more so. And then he gets almost all his power back. Gets basically Nice's powers set, and is able to defeat the evil bad guy. And Moon was a fake.
Yeah, I
Which,
thought that
you
was
know-
the best part right there. Just finding out that God Eye was bluffing the whole time. That was
Right.
that was good.
That
And
was
not
good.
putting anyone in danger. Actually, he didn't do anything
Yeah.
that evil. It's a
Mhm.
little, deceptive, but
Yeah.
He gets to keep the number 10 spot. His new superhero name is now Commoner because he's just a normal guy from the streets. And then we see Moon, who's been trapped on this desert island she put herself on, and is like, maybe this was a mistake. Throwing notes into the ocean. They keep coming back.
Didn't she have
but
like her notes were in bottles, right?
Yeah, she was
And then
throwing
it
bottles
changes, and you see like all these bottles washing up in front of the rock she's on.
because
So
the
her
tide
suitcase
pulling it
must have
back
been just full of
of
like
bottles.
Because she left her
bottles, yeah.
portal gun at the tower when she went through her portal. It's like, why'd you leave it?
I never want
then-
to see this power again.
Lin Ling appears
Using the portal gun.
and is like, hey, I missed you. And his whole arc has been like, what do you want? Do you want to be with the girl, or do you want to be the superhero you always dreamed of being? Two things he always wanted, and now it seems like he's finally choosing. But then a superhero shows up and shoots her in the head, and she's dead, just like in the Vision at the end of episode 1.
Mhm.
Vision in quotes, because I'm assuming that's what it was.
Yep.
My guess is that fear gives you some kind of psychic power as well. That when he was touched by the fear in episode 1, it gave him some kind of ability of vision. In the ED of the 24th episode, we also see a character using tarot cards, so it's also possible there is actual just regular psychics. And psychic
Mhm.
power is just a thing. But I don't know. We don't know yet.
So like Miss Chloe could become like an actual.
Now, I know there's
Who's
Jason's the hotline lady you call to get your tarot cards
From
read.
like 1992. It's like,
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Back in the 1-900 days.
right.
The only one who kept her clothes on the phone call.
Oh, that's funny.
Jason, and a lot of people's complaints is that we never find out why Moon is killed.
This lost me.
And you're both to be lost right now. You're very confused, and then the next storyline comes to the character who did the assassination, and it still doesn't explain it.
Eh,
I will just say this.
not specifically. Yeah.
Not specifically. Yeah, there's a lot of context clues for why. We don't know the specifics, but we definitely know this is very much in the wheelhouse of some characters making sure this happens, while not the specifics. And the anime in episode 24 does address it, that is an unsolved murder that is still going on.
Mhm.
Which is important to me because that means that it's not a lost story thread. They do care. They talk about it again. They haven't forgotten. It will be addressed. Again, we're halfway, a third of the story. I don't know how long they plan to go with this, but that's good enough for me at this point.
Not me. 20 episodes later, and they barely dress it again.
Well,
This
finally
is
gotten back to
part.
the same time period. Yeah.
This is part of the issue I had where I stopped caring about the characters because it was like you leave this major cliffhanger that you don't address for 20 episodes. Then obviously, why should I care?
For me, I just had a burning hatred for the guy that killed her. Because I was like, and it just grew as I learned more and more about his story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just really hate that character, even though I know he's probably just acting on orders. But I think
No,
it was
I think he's
clean.
hate
I think that's
worthy.
what it was.
I think he's hate worthy.
Yeah.
I understand. Like you're not the only one that has that complaint, Jason. When I was looking through reviews, especially early on, about halfway, people who were at that point, this was a big thing. Why have we not talked about this? And I'm just at a point where I enjoy it. I enjoy that there's this hook out there. And again, as long as they're not forgetting it and not caring about it, they do. It matters. They've given me the context for why it would happen. That's definitely built into the story. I'm happy to wait for the details. I enjoy the engagement.
I'm glad you are.
Over
All right.
there. Go over there and enjoy it.
Any other thoughts on the first act? First story?
Mm-mm.
All right, we're going back in time. We see kids' parents getting murdered on. This is the day. This is the day. What was the name of this day? They mentioned it a lot later. This is Zero's day.
Oh,
Downfall?
D-Day.
Yeah, this is downfall. Dawnfall. Dawnfall.
No, I
This
thought
is
it was
the-
downfall. Is that
I definitely did not write it down. I don't know. I'm looking at my notes.
in the subs? I thought that was
That for sure was
maybe.
downfall. Dawnfall. Doesn't matter. Look, it's the
Doesn't
day.
matter.
And we see a little boy whose parents have been murdered be saved by the hero Isol. And this little kid, we're about to catch up when he's 16 years old. Now we're back in time. This is as far back as the story we're gonna see goes.
Yeah, you're right. It's Dawnfall. Huh.
Yes.
It always looked like an O. Weird.
And this is Yang Cheng. There's gonna be a lot of complaints, a lot of heresy coming at you. And they're all accurate. But I just want to say I think it's intentional. Jason, go ahead.
Yeah, I can't stand this character. Just he's afraid of his own shadow, but he hides in a mask to do like performances. He's a overrated children's clown, basically. And then he basically gets Isol's power because he wins a fight, and then people mistake him for Isol, so they start calling him the new Isol, and then all of a sudden he starts getting his powers.
It's a little off, but close enough.
Is you can explain it. Anyways, there's a moment I really hated. When he first gets like his really big power boost, and he goes and stops a robbery. He's nearly Flash speed. Like he's behind someone before they can turn around with a shotgun. He's able to run extreme distances. And then there's this short jog to his friend to stop his friend from being shot, and he can't make the run.
Well, that was
Man,
intentional.
you
He
gotta
hesitated.
watch the anime. It tells you why he didn't make it in time.
He deliberately didn't do it.
He chose to hesitate. He hesitated on purpose because he was jealous of that guy. That's why
Letting
he's so
die.
mad at the end. That's his
What-
whole thing.
When did he say that?
Oh, he explicitly said, "I will never hesitate again," and it was like showing him running
And
then
it
pausing.
re-showed it, and it showed him hesitate a step. Yes, he could have reached him in time. He didn't because he
was
was like,
jealous.
maybe I
Mhm.
shouldn't save that guy because that guy's asking out the girl I like, and she's like, maybe I'll say yes because you're a bum, and he is a bum. But yeah, and
Oh.
he's specific, and the reason he's murdering Isol is because he feels guilty and blames, and because taking his shame is he's projecting it onto Isol and attacking him.
So he's just
Well,
a terrible person all around.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
no redeeming qualities about this character. Okay, I'm glad we
Initially, he
went.
believed-
I'm really
that
glad we
old
went
Isol-
from. Oh, go ahead, Jerry.
I was just gonna say he initially believed that old Isol was responsible for killing the guy.
Yes.
Like it wasn't just I'm jealous and I'm going to take my rage out on that guy. It's I think he's responsible. Was his original reason. I think that was his whole reason.
Yes, but it's the reason he's really lashing out is his own self shame. It's both. Like he's convinced himself that the facts have lined up by manipulation that Isol and
Rock.
his party is he Rock for you too? Because his real name, like in the wiki, is different. It's not
What?
Rock. That's not his name. But
Yeah,
It is in the
anime calls him-
show.
in the show, he's Rock, which is fine. He's Uncle Rocky. Like we'll call him Rock. I was worried the subtitles would have it's like Lee Mao or something like that, which is weird because again we have
Oh,
Nunu Wang, and
That's
they
his
kept
true
that
name. That's his true name when he was like a kid and like as a person, but for some reason he's called Rock.
Oh, okay. I just thought it was a translation issue. Okay, Just
No, and I think this is where I really started to get a bad taste in my mouth for the entirety of the anime. It was that we went from this pretty compelling story of Ling Li and his girlfriend, and then we get this cliffhanger of a moment that we never get addressed again, and then we go to this scumbag.
addressed one time again, but that's okay. Just let's be correct.
Sure. They mention it one more time in the final episode. Thanks.
Yes.
That was super satisfying.
The investigation is pending.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, and then we get this scumbag arc where he's so not self-confident that it was just irritating to watch. It wasn't just cringe, it was irritating. And then we go in, and you guys know how much I love music powers. We go, that'll be the next one that we go into. I stopped caring. I just stopped caring.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I had trouble
complaint
with Cyan
over
as well. Yeah. But for Isol though, I hate this guy. And
Yeah.
I have to acknowledge that they actually did a good job making him a hateable character. So like I can't be mad that I hate him, but I do hate him. He's so irritating on so many levels. I didn't have a huge problem with his hesitation and fear and lack of self-confidence. That didn't bother me too much, but what bothered me was when it was really clear that he was being manipulated, and if he had even two brain cells to rub together, he could have been able to see that. I did not realize that Rock was, the CEO of that other company. I don't think it had been exposed yet. I don't think we'd seen any images of him, so why would I? But still,
right.
I imagine the guy has probably got his face plastered somewhere as, in that world. So for him not to recognize.
But this is the furthest back.
Not yet, because
I don't
Rock's
think-
not a CEO yet. He's a silent partner for FOMO.
So this is before he
Exact.
departed
But
FOMO.
he hasn't taken over MG yet. In fact, he used to work for MG. He goes to FOMO and then
MG was
becomes
one of the oldest. Yeah.
Yes, and it's the other guy's dad's. No,
Dad?
Shang. Yeah, Shang's dad ran MG, and both current Shang and Rock were there. Rock left to go to FOMO, and then came back and took over MG.
Who's Shang?
The rich kid's dad in this one. The one who wants revenge on Rock for getting his son killed.
In the red suit and
red suit.
hair. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Treeman. He's the Treeman CEO.
Treeman Corp. Yeah. Yeah. So I really hated this guy, and then he kept being used to just ruthlessly assassinate other characters. Just coming out of left field to kill them, and even the way that he just referred so casually to somebody that was employed by the same boss, right? Like, oh, I'll just thin the herd a little bit so I don't have to work as hard to climb the ladder.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he's a horrible person. And yeah, that makes for a good villain, but there were points in time where I got like Game of Thrones and The Boys vibes where I'm like, okay, there's only so much I can take before my righteous indignation just overwhelms me, and I'm like, I can't stand this. I need to go. I hate this character so much, and then I'll come back. So like, this has taken that slot for the next few months. I can't watch another show like that for a while.
I'm 100% where we were, because we just watched Lin Ling rise to herodom, and we're watching this guy rise to herodom, right? I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool. He's similar, but he's a little bit different. Okay, I found his lack of confidence annoying me, so it was bad. when the girl is like, just say it, and we'll do this, but I'm tired of you waiting. Please say it. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, oh, come on. Before he's like, oh, maybe I won't invite her to the concert and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, he's young. He's 16. We've seen this before. Jason's going to be mad. But by the end, I mean, But watching the story we're about to recap, and growing disgusted with him and seeing him make these horrible decisions and thinking, oh, he'll redeem himself, and he doesn't. And then he's standing there at the end in the full Esol garb, and I'm like, oh, they just Darth Vadered us. This is this is the Darth Vader origin. It's almost beat for beat the Darth Vader origin story. It's very close. Someone manipulating you, making bad decisions, giving in.
Yeah, but at
And I'm
least he had a decent relationship with Padme. I mean, come on.
I know, he got 2 kids out of it.
I thought it was really clever. Again, I also hate the character, and I also felt completely sidelined that we went this way. But in retrospect, it makes sense that okay, we need to establish villains just as well as we need to establish heroes. And I'm kind of I'm a little giddy. They did it like they're like, we're not waiting. Here's a horrible villain, and we're not gonna let you see it coming.
That was one of my biggest complaints.
I know.
No.
Storytelling. It's
not okay. One, you're purposely misunderstanding. Two, I don't. This okay. I'm fine with them introducing this guy as a villain, but he's obviously not a. It was very clear and apparent he is not a like overarching villain. He's not our main bad guy. We don't
He's
even.
another contestant.
Huh?
Well, he's just another contestant.
Yeah.
He's our Darth Vader.
Right, but at least Vader was a overwhelming presence throughout the entire storyline. This guy, he pops in and out, and it's like, oh, that's right, he's in this show.
Everybody pops in and out. That's the point of the show.
Which is so frustrating.
Someone you haven't seen. No, it's anthology. It's anthology.
Okay.
It's supposed to be
Done badly.
No, done better than I've probably ever seen.
Well, you haven't seen a lot of them then. Anyways, this was my main issue, is that we, besides Rock, we don't like the bad guy that was behind God Eye. We don't even get a glimpse of that dude until later on.
Okay, but we know who it is.
Of course,
Is it Vortex?
It was journalist guy, right?
Journalist guy.
You think it's journalist guy?
No. In the last episode, they literally do a transition from him to mask guy.
I remember seeing that, but I was like, no, it can't be him. Really?
No, they were doing all the reveals on the last episode.
Yeah.
Okay. But like the overarching bad guys were so aloof and so nebulous, and you were always guessing, and there was very little hard evidence that you're always putting. It's fun to put together a puzzle, but when the puzzle pieces are also puzzle piece, like are broken up into smaller puzzle pieces that are then broken up into smaller puzzle pieces, it gets exhausting. It's like, okay, just say what you mean for this thing so I can work on this other part of the puzzle, please. And they decided, ooh, we're gonna have the black box. It's like, is it J.J. Abrams write this? What's going on?
Lens flares.
Those are just called puzzles with more pieces.
I'm not interested in puzzleception.
Puzzleception, I like it.
I also like at the end of this, we know Rock is a villain. I think it was pretty clear that all the CEOs are very villainous.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I didn't feel like it was taking much to put it together. Yes, in this arc, Rock comes out of left field. And I do have a complaint about that, because I thought Rock was his adopted, was like an uncle who adopted him after
yeah.
He calls him Uncle Rocky. We're not it doesn't well establish that this is just his employer the past year. Like, he started working at this coffee shop, and now this guy calls him, is like, hey, how's it going with that girl? This is totally inappropriate for your boss to ask. But okay, so
yes.
I thought it was, oh, my uncle who I've lived with since my parents died is teasing me about the girl. That makes total sense. And then we see that Rock just found him because he saw his Twitter post and was like, nailed it. That's exactly who I was looking for.
Trying to make a god.
I do love how this all plays into like Rock's ultimate plan. How I was hoping that the other soul was part of a different company, but it's I think it's literally his company. Oh no, if it's MG, he doesn't have it yet. So yeah, he kind of steals the guy's hero, and confirms that he can transfer trust from one hero to another, which we had in this timeline hasn't been seen before. So it's almost like this really cool experiment he does to see, which I'm sure is going to serve his purpose for Zero.
Okay, that is one interesting point. So in Dawnfall, Isol defeats Zero, and that's when he loses his arm. But he had his arm when he saved the kid that is Isol now. So that must have been right before the Isol battle.
Mm.
Okay.
Like he saved him and then went and killed Zero.
And lost his arm.
Awesome. All right, I'm gonna do a quick recap. Yeah, so we've mostly covered it. 16-year-old pathetic guy dresses up as Isol for cosplay performances. The little brother of the girl he likes is like giving him tips. The little brother gets kidnapped by these two thugs who are mysteriously hired. It was Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had what I call a Jeremy complaint. You can't catch a bike, or you can't catch a car on a bike. Just
Yes.
That's just
even
not
I
gonna
broke it
happen.
down. And honestly, I was like,
Nope.
oh, that's a little disappointing. He doesn't have any. He had no trust value. There's no reason he could bike hard enough to catch them. It was just a very cartoony thing of, yeah, bicycles can keep up with cars, right? Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
I'm fine. It's fine. He even got ahead of him at one point. But yeah, then he ends up fighting the thugs. The kid starts believing in him. He gives him just enough powers to beat these thugs. The rich kid, the son of who will be the tree, tree CEO, tree man CEO. That kid's like, hey, I know it's you, and I want to help you, and we'll work together. And I have a rich dad, and I also like the girl you like, but I'm okay if you want to make a move. I can't wait for this guy to be a dick, but he was nice the whole time.
Yeah.
He becomes a superhero. He's also Esol, and he's starting to get steal some of the popularity. The corporation's like, hey, Esol, old Esol, you want to like do something about this? He's like, I don't care. I just want to do push-ups. I don't take off my mask, and I just do push-ups all day with my one arm. The girl becomes his manager. The thugs come forward saying that he hired them. And it was all faked. And then he goes to court, and the rich kid saves him and proves that he was innocent, and also gets him like a warehouse they can build his suit in and stuff. And then assailant attacks one of the thugs, attacks them at the warehouse, but he's not there. He gets the rich kid. This is where he sees it because he was out in the rain with the girl in a romantic moment that he didn't take advantage of. Starts running, doesn't get there in time. We'll see later that he hesitated in his first step because funeral. There was a funeral. The dad's like, "Hey, get vengeance."
Mm-hmm.
And he, Enlightener actually shows up again and is like, "Hey, those thugs got out of jail. Clearly, someone powerful is behind this." He's convinced it's Esol, and challenges him to a fight. Esol's like, "Yeah, I'm not fighting a kid. I don't want to do that." But hey, the people speak, and eventually he accepts, and they have a big battle. Esol's winning. He has ultimate shield protection, but everyone wants him to use the move that beat Zero, and he's getting weaker because of he's not using it, so he decides to use it. That's when he's weak, and so our Esol clashes with him as their two ultimate attacks hit, and he has gloves that push back like twice as much force as they get hit, so I think that's why he wins, because he would have repelled the attack back. But he loses his arm. And I had a fun thought. Did he lose his arm because of the attack, or because now he has Esol's trust and everyone trusts that Esol only has one arm? Doesn't matter, but he does act like old Esol from this point forward. He doesn't take off the mask, he stays in the suit, exercises, robot arm. And he joins the top 10 with Uncle Rock, this CEO at his side.
And we see what happened to the henchmen. Uncle Rock put them in the concrete that was
underneath
murdered
where them.
The tournament took place.
There is so in Star Wars, Emperor Palpatine always seems to have the perfect plan for everything, and I like the way they address that here, because there's a lot of like, oh, it's really convoluted, all this lined up, but they're talking about this romantic date scene, and he's like, it's a magic spot where every confession works. He's like, well, how does that spot work? He's like, it's just a good spot. There's light there. I just put a table and chairs there, and it's pointing out like all these dominoes were lined up. I'm just the guy who realized I just need to push it, and I'll
Yep.
get what I want. So I like that. I like that little explanation. Still some little convoluted stuff there, but he had access to his Twitter algorithm. It's fine.
Yeah. This is where like the first story was intriguing and everything. This one I really didn't like the character, but it also felt a little bit meandering. Like I couldn't get behind his objective.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
so I was like, what are we heading towards? Like what is the point
East
of this?
Esol's objective.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
Of killing the other Esol. I
Yeah,
couldn't get
because
behind it. And so
I was like, people know you're not the real one. Why don't you just come up with a new persona?
yeah,
You'll keep the trust that
yeah,
you have, and then you can just become your own hero.
exactly. Yeah,
Like
why
that.
do you have to steal it from him?
Yeah.
So
And I
the
think
moment
that
that
it
he
was
started
all
doing that,
Rock's.
ugh.
It was all Rock's revenge, right?
Oh
Like
yeah.
this whole thing. But
But it just felt meandering to me because I was like, well, I'm not interested in this story. I don't like this character. Can we move to the next arc? Can we see the next story in the anthology? Which
Hmm.
unfortunately I was also not
Hmm.
intrigued
So
by.
I was struggling with this one, but I think the payoff is fantastic. Again, when I walked away, I realized, oh, we set up this was a villain origin story rather than a hero origin story like the last one. It kind of reframed all the context of what I saw, and I was okay with it. Um, but I do agree about the next one. So the next one is the Lucky Cyan, and I do think for me was the weakest. I think it starts strong. I was into what it started with. We also ditched the 3D animation at this point, and that it's a little bit jarring. You're like, is that coming back? Is there a reason it left? And I thought a reason, and I'm sad. But let's talk about the main character of it, Lucky Cyan, the good luck singing hero, who was featured in the last.
Mhm.
That can't be right.
She was.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
So
the
her story,
tickets. They were gonna. They had
yeah,
tickets to go
she
there.
is. But I thought that was like the farthest back we went, but it's not because
No.
Lucky Cyan is already singing by then. So her origin story is back even farther, at least the beginning of it. But yeah, Lucky Cyan, your guys' thoughts
She's all right.
on the character?
Yeah, yeah. No. Her character's all right, but I don't let this. Okay, no, that complaint doesn't hold water because if trust tells you you can do something, then you can do it. Yeah, her whole story was fine. I just didn't like the way they introduced fear because not only did it just make it look like a zombie outbreak, but it was not really explained well. So
The character herself is fine. I like her. But I hated all the singing. I
Because it was
there
in
was
English. How dare
Yes.
they?
right,
Yes, if they had done it in Japanese, I probably would have been fine with it. But when I can understand it, it just becomes cheesy and it drives me nuts. Um, I thought the counterbalancing, like when they introduced the yin to her, no, the yang to her yin, with the boy that was like misfortune, he believed, which I don't even know if that's necessarily true. Like whatever he has as a power, um, he certainly created fear in other people somehow. But I thought that their relationship was interesting. It was cute to watch, and how he built her up, and even with like the president of the orphanage, how he was constantly causing problems. Really, like I was frustrated more with him than anything else because I was like, how are you in charge of an orphanage? You are horrible. Um, you're a horrible person. But I don't know. I think it was the music side of it. It just felt so silly, like we were watching an idol anime, and I typically don't watch those if I have a choice. Um, so I don't know. This was the weakest one for me. Um, her powers are fine. I like fortune-based powers. They're interesting, but they're also such a wild card. Like at any point in time, they could just, hey, she's lucky, so she dodged.
It's a
Or
walking Duke's Ex Machina, right?
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. I think there's a Marvel character that Domino,
Domino.
I think. Yeah. And just I don't know, that kind of a power system, it's cool in theory, but like as soon as you try to build it out, where does it stop? Like what's the limit of her luck, right?
I liked how it was perceived in Dan to Dan with Turbo Granny's luck. I thought that was pretty good.
I
Where it
just
was
had
like,
the same issue with Scarlet Witch. When like, oh, I hit something and it does chaos. Well, then never do anything because we don't know what it's gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm in Jeremy's boat in the fact that I'm not a big fan of like music based powers. I think I don't know, it just doesn't jive with my likes. So
He doesn't like music. He hears music and he's like, "Oh, turn that record off! Get off your sketchboards!"
yeah, I sit on my front porch in a rocking chair, waving my fist at people that drive by with
Broadcasting
loud music.
fear.
It's
Fear spittle.
um, not to rag on my co-host, but you'll notice they didn't talk much about her character. They mostly talked about the arc, which they should do at the end of the arc recap. But there's actually a really good reason for it here. This character is really basic, and there's not, we had a really good hero with Ling Ling, and as hateable as he was, we had a complex villain through Yang Cheng. Now we have Lucky Cyan, who's just like, life is bad, life is good. I just keep skating by. I don't really care. Like, we don't get into the depths of like the trauma of being raised as a goddess in a church and what she was forced to do, what they did to her, and then ended up homeless and all this stuff. They're just like, it's fine. I skate by. She's the skate by character, even compared to like Queen and some of the more basic characters who are coming up. She's just really bare bones. It's not that she's like bad. It's just she feels very background minor character with how much depth there is, and there's not much to say about her.
no, the main reason for this arc was to establish the plane crash and to establish that there's a substance called fear and what it can do.
Mm-hmm.
Like we learn about fear earlier on in the story, but this was like an origin ish for it.
It's like, here's what happens if fear breaks out. Like,
yeah, because like people were like, yeah, that entire town, we're gonna have to like nuke it off the map because it's just lost.
Yeah.
But like most music characters, they just sing their way out of it.
Mm-hmm. Boki and the Rock, anyone?
Gross.
She didn't have any powers, and you like Bochi the Rock.
I don't remember. I just remember that it was a singing anime or band anime.
It was about guitar playing. It had really cool technical skill in it.
Was it?
That's what we'll call it. Anyways.
It was a show we watched.
We should move on.
It had music.
I thought you were going to go fast.
I thought you weren't going to be a... Never mind.
You know me better than that. Come on.
I'm one page too far. Okay. An airplane crash.
Yes.
Investigative journalist sneaks on, taking pictures. It's bizarre that an airplane has crashed in the Age of Heroes, which is what freaking him out. And everyone's like, it's like a freak accident. Don't worry about it. He's like, no, this is weird. We need to investigate. And he finds a baby in the wreckage, alive, unharmed.
And instead of reporting it to the authorities,
because they would experiment on her or possibly kill her to hide truth, he takes her to...
like he's a good guy.
Who said he's a bad guy?
He's wearing a bad guy outfit. He's part of Spotlight. He's operating
okay.
on a dead hero.
At this point, we don't know. At this point, we don't know he's a bad guy.
I was going to try to make the argument that, he's doing it for the greater good, but he is like experimenting and torturing people. So, okay. All right. We'll come to that later. He drops off this little baby at an orphanage with an old superhero friend of his who's retired.
And the recording of the black box.
Yes, which we won't. Do we find that out right away, or is it not till the end? Okay,
not till the end.
At the end. So, and he names her Cyan because that's the color of her hair, that's as far as he could think. Good thing she wasn't bald.
Yeah. Baldy, the best singer ever.
Diane starts growing up in this orphanage, and people find out she's lucky, and like literally, like if you talk to her, you'll get lucky. Hey, if I open a gotcha pack, I'll get the rare edition. If I talk this late, ask her to point on a map, and I move there, it'll be good for me and my husband's relationship. Yada yada yada. And this legend grows to the point where like one lady starts taking money advantage of it, and the dean, no, what do you?
Mhm.
Is it Dean? Okay,
Yeah,
the dean slaps the lady around. Is like, we're not taking advantage of her. By the way, we're turning this into a church where people will
Yeah.
come to celebrate and worship her, and she will not have a normal life. She will be the goddess of this world.
Mhm.
We'll
Which is
take
what
tithing.
happens to her
Yeah.
until another luck-based character shows up, except for he's bad luck, and his name is Luo, and he's like, yeah, I'm a rebel. I don't even care about stuff. I play guitar. Um, and they become best friends, and then they grow up, and they're doing like, hey, do the mystical performance, and instead they do like a pop punk rock song in front of the church, and then they try to escape instead of just trying to escape. Sure, it's fine.
Mhm.
And then
You
the
knew when she
dean,
wore rollerblades up there, it was like, okay, so she's gonna be taking off on those things.
I, I'll say, I was actually really like, oh, I like that they're going with like this punk rock, and I thought the church was into it. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, and then the church was
Mhm.
really mad about it. I'm like, what is happening here? They try to escape. The dean uses his superpowers and attacks them. Luckily, a truck drives in and hits him, and Luo and Cyan escapes, where
Oh,
she
that's
ends up
right.
on the street.
I don't know if you mentioned it, but the dean used to be a hero in the hero
I know.
tower. Like
And he seemed powerful. Like he's got
he's
basically
got Cthulhu arms,
yeah, exactly. What is
invisible
that? Elfin
tentacles.
Lied. Yeah, Elfin Lied arms.
Well,
Mhm.
except I don't think they
Mhm.
cut people in half. But
Yeah.
And he has all his clothes on. Anyway,
so what
Not
one
doing it right
scene?
then.
Cyan, yeah, she's out on the street. She has no money. She's like, oh, I'll just get like a scratch sheet. Don't worry. Plays some music, and the first coin comes from a mysterious stranger. Who
Rolls it across his fingers.
Jeremy figured out who he was. Somehow I missed it, and I even said, "No, you're wrong." But I was thinking of a different coin guy. He was right the whole time. That's the important thing.
That's right.
This guy we'll talk about last. um,
Because he's best.
she continues to do street performing, starts making money, but then she gets on videos. Eventually, gets recognized. Signs with the group DOS
Mickey.
as a hero. Starts performing
Denial of
concerts.
service.
Yes.
And the dean and that town, they basically get unlucky because she's gone, which is not true. Maybe it's because Luo's there. It doesn't matter. It's more their belief of their unluck, and then that just spirals and grows until the point it becomes fear, and then you are right. It looks like a zombie outbreak at a couple points, but it just the town gets corrupted by fear, the area, and Cyan gets
Literally pure
blamed, and
mayor.
her numbers start dropping, and her CEO's like, I'm mad at you. And her new friends, Queen and Lil Johnny, are like, don't worry about it. You should just like do stuff. And she's like, oh, I'm just gonna do stuff. And the CEO's like, all right, go do stuff. And then she rollerblades all the way over to town, lucks a bunch of cars that are trying to ram her so that they all part for her. Has a bow and arrow weapon set. It's a guitar bow and arrow combo thing that works just fine. She defeats the evil dean, who's corrupted by greed, and then has to fight her old best friend, who now blames her because his parents were on the plane. And
I
she
do
gets a
love that the dean gets nailed in the face twice by a guitar. Like that cracked me up.
hold of the black box, plays it out loud, and we find out the reason she survived the plane crash is everyone basically gave her enough trust and luck to survive the plane crash. That was like their wish, their prayers that she would survive, and that was enough. Which again is why I think trust isn't just trust. There's like other things going on here in the mystical world.
This means that after you die, whatever you've put your trust into stays.
Oh, I think it left, and it
Nope.
just protected her for just the airplane crash.
I don't think so. Because she was lucky before anybody believed she was lucky at the orphanage.
I think they believed she was lucky, and then she just became lucky
No,
because
why
she
did they?
survived.
No, she started pulling stuff out of the Pokemon cards and all that stuff.
And that could have been coincidence and just built
Oh,
up her reputation.
no, you're still no. I think that's way too much of a stretch.
All
Does this
right.
No,
matter?
she was still lucky.
What would be lucky is if we moved
They
on to Queen.
they kept saying that some people have powers, is what they were saying, and they thought that she was one of those people that just has powers before there's trust.
So if you dump your soul into somebody, they get to keep that power of your soul.
Yes, I think that's what that was showing. I didn't click until just now, but the fact that everybody on the plane wished this and then died, I think they boosted her and then
The-
she stayed boosted.
The problem is we see her luck disappear at one point. She goes down to 0, buys a lottery ticket, can't win, and has to rebuild her power back up. It didn't linger.
Well, it may not have been a trust value at that point. Like whatever did happened, I think it might be like what you're saying, that it's something else, but it may not necessarily be registering
Right.
as a trust value. But I think it's from those people, because certainly she didn't have anything when she was a baby before this.
It was a thought I had. Again, I made the bold conclusion when I don't have anything to back this up, that it wasn't lingering because that seemed too strong.
I think it's too much of a coincidence that she would be given luck to survive, and then luck would become the ability that she gets. I mean, even though,
Or
like you said, people are like, "Oh, she's
You're
lucky to have survived," but I don't. Did anybody even know that she survived from the plane crash? They just knew that she showed up.
well, the
He
dean
was keeping that
knows.
secret. The dean didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
or maybe even though her trust value went to 0 and she didn't win the lottery, it was actually lucky that she didn't, because then the events that played out ended up playing out in her favor anyways.
I think the point of the
Sure.
lottery ticket was to
That's
show
luck.
the audience that she is not lucky anymore.
No.
She's
See,
lucky.
those losing was the luck.
Well, I wonder how much of it is the counter, right? Because now people were actively wishing negative things for her, and that would potentially suppress the positive that was locked in. I could see that happening.
All right. Now this would be the normal time we talk about the arc. So I'm going to comment on music-based heroes and whatnot. I do think this is the weakest arc. Um, even like the final battle just was like, this feels so unimportant. The big thing that comes out of this is fear is discovered by the population. Now we know some people already know about fear because of the Zero incident, but it seems the general population doesn't. And now all the CEOs and the Hero Commission are like, this is a big deal. We need to start tracking this. And some of them are like, we're going to start using this. So,
Quick question: did somebody deploy a vial of fear at some point
No.
in this?
Came out
So
of the
just
kid.
came out of the kid, because every other instance of fear that we see throughout the rest of the story is artificially introduced into whatever ends up getting turned.
except, and I guess we don't know because we haven't seen it. I assume Zero's was naturally forming as well.
Yeah, his was the first instance of it.
Since he's the first superhero, that also makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think my biggest issue with this was, I think the dean really bugged me because there's like, hey, here's a good guy who I trust, and then he's just like you said, he's the worst. And
Horrible.
the story, like everything he was doing, setting up an orphanage, helping people, and he was super kind and nice, and like, oh, here's a guy you could trust. And wait, why is he turning into a what? He's church of what?
Yeah,
This doesn't seem like good guy behavior. This seems bad. And it was such a swerve, and just. I just wish they had set him up to be like a little more creepy or manipulative beforehand.
Felt
and he just starts
forced.
slapping people around and then made a church.
And it didn't really even match with what his stated intention was, because there were other times where he was like, I'm going to basically live vicariously through a hero that I create, because I can't be a hero anymore.
His dream is to have an orphanage to create heroes, but then you find it's like, because I miss being a hero. Yeah.
Yeah. So then why did he not propel her towards? I know that he was slowly like grooming her into becoming one through this church thing.
To trust.
But this would be a much faster way, like to actually get her out there doing things. It just seemed strange. Like he could have very easily been like, okay, let's do something more active. What do you want to do? Instead of trying to be so confining and controlling about the method by which she becomes popular. It seemed more like he was interested in making short-term money gains. Which just that's a totally different goal. So I don't know. I didn't like him. I thought this was kind of a weak part of the story too.
All right. We're going to the next story. Reminder, talk about the character, recap, then talk about our thoughts on the arc. The next character is Queen. She's the daughter of that investigative reporter and dreams of becoming X. Your guys' thoughts on Queen?
I really liked this character. However, I was a little disappointed. So, like, when she's really young, she talks about, hey, I want to become a hero because I want to become an authoritarian dictator.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's basically
exactly
her
what she
power.
said.
It's basically her power is I will force everyone around me to do what I want them to do because I want peace in the world. And then you know, Queen is a great name for her hero persona. I liked her personality. I liked how she ended up being softened by Johnny and Lucky. And I also liked I liked her power, like her power set. That was really cool. So but yeah, I like this college student. Like she's super smart. She ends up getting into college early because, you know, she's just really kind of full of herself, and then she ends up softening as time goes by, but also knowing her, you know, with her ambition. So yeah, it was a good character.
Yeah, it was funny too because we had watched some of the Sheldon as a kid series.
Young Sheldon. Yeah.
Young Sheldon. That's yeah.
Can't believe you just put that on a platter for me. I was like, what is this happening?
Yeah, there's a show about this guy. He was really super. I think he was a man. I can't.
Superman. So typically when we watch these shows, I'm doing something else. So that's like the name of the show is not really filed. But yes, so he basically went to college at the same age as her. I think it was like a year younger. So I kept cracking up because I was like, okay, so she's basically Sheldon. she's just got a little bit more empathy, like able to communicate a little bit better. But she's basically like, what if that character thought he was, you know, gonna lead everybody and make the best decisions? I could totally see it. And so that was kind of funny. And I like her powers a lot. Her powers are very, very cool. Even the art style around them and everything that happens as they come in just reminds me of Fate. I just get really cool magic vibes from it. Um, I think up until this point, I was kind of really starting to drift away from the anime, and her little bit that we got from her really brought me back. I like her connection to the journalist, just the fact that he's her dad, and it doesn't seem like she knows his involvement in Spotlight.
Oh yeah, no.
Yep. And um she's got so much naivety tied into her confidence. I think that's a great type of character to watch, not necessarily break, but at least like encounter reality and adjust to it. Um, and seeing her hit the wall multiple times and like fail to participate in tournaments because of things beyond her control um, was pretty cool. Yeah, I like her.
I'm also a fan. I love this arc she goes through of I'm a prodigy, I always win, I'm always successful, and then what happens when that runs into failure, like a brick wall.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. And
Cargo container.
You feel bad for her though, but her character is cool. Still not the deepest, not as deep as the first two, and a little bit shorter. But this is like the first. Well, really, Lucky Cyan is because this links into that one. But to me, this is where like the really good A to B, A to B, A to B starts coming in, and she leads that. I'm looking forward to more of her in the future, especially because she just seems like one of the cool collected. I also love I'm gonna be authoritarian, but she's calling out this world sucks.
Mm-hmm.
The
So-
superhero system, it sucks.
So if
We need to
everyone
fix
just
it.
does what I say, it'll be fine.
It'll be better.
Fair enough. But we've been seeing it, and I like that there's this character who's like pointing it out to the rest of the world. Okay, recap. So yeah, she's this prodigy at a young age, going to college, graduating. When she does graduate, she declares, "I'm going to become X," which is the number one hero from the tournament that happens every 2 years. There's a ranking system. You can always move up and down, but to get to the number one, you have to win the tournament. Unless X dies, then number two just slides up. Is my understanding, or retires or whatever happens to X. Anyway, she declares, the world's corrupt. I'm gonna fix this hero system, and everyone calls her queen. She signs with the company DOS. We are going to talk about all the CEOs and their companies when there's a big meeting coming up with all of them. We'll get into their personalities and stuff. But we meet Mickey, and then we see what's happening in the real world is because of Queen's declaration, women are becoming inspired to become heroes. And at the same time, a woman, for the first time in a long time, becomes X. And Mickey puts him in the room and is like, "You both did good, but you did better." and then they instantly start hating each other. They get in a fight, and then they meet Little Johnny, who we will be talking about later, and he kind of befriends Queen because his pet alien is super cute. They also later meet Cyan, and this is the part where we're told Rock has left FOMO, much to the CEO of FOMO's surprise. They're like, "What do you think about Rock taking over MG?" He's like, "He did what now? I don't care." But he clearly does. This is where Rock now is taking over his own company, and Shang announces he's forming a conglomerate company called Tree Man that is multiple. Like they have, they're a realtor corporation, they're hero management, they do media, they're doing all kinds of stuff.
This moment doesn't seem to be touched again, unless I missed something. But when Queen sees Big Johnny for the first time, she cannot turn away from him. In fact, she's like, "Why can I not get away from this thing? I want to walk away." Why did that happen?
I think it was the first time Kawhi got her.
Yeah, it's hard. I don't think it's a superpower. I think it's literally for the first time. It's not
Okay.
business. There's
So
something.
it was more of
there's
a
cute
gag.
kitten. I think so.
Okay, it was a gag. Okay.
Only because it doesn't come back up again. We don't see that's something that the Johnnies can do.
Yeah, and
or
nothing in
that's not
Johnny's
their power set.
backstory. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, Lucky Cyan joins their group. The ranking tournament comes up, and Queen's all ready to take on Boa. Finally, settle this rivalry, take the number one spot, and this random guy with snapping fingers comes out instead. And next thing she knows, she's on her back, and the tournament is over. She lost. Boa blames Queen. It's her fault. Also, I love the scene where Mickey goes to the top floor of the tower to meet the new number one hero, and it's abandoned. No one's there.
In fact, that bugged me. There was plants growing everywhere, like it was a post-apocalyptic, vines taking over a room. That didn't make sense at all to me.
You could have snapped him into there, or it was Boa's before.
Yeah. Those are the two options. Either he's just like, screw
It's
it.
still dumb. The plants would have
I'm gonna
died.
destroy this place.
Oh, speaking of top of the tower, I love the scene in the OP where he's literally on top of the tower with all these heroes, and then he snaps it, it becomes 3D, and he's standing on top of the reflection in a puddle on the street of the tower, and then just starts walking away because of the way he changes perspective. Oh, it's such a good shot.
That is a good shot.
Sorry.
We get
Her
one of the
dad-
best fights of the first season.
Yes, that's going up. Queen, who's feeling down in the dumps about herself, again, loving the story of what happens to the super successful when they, hit failure for the first time. And her dad is like, "Hey, did you know Lucky Cyan's having a hard time?" So she goes, and that's where she's like, "Hey, you should go take care of the thing." And then there's a year passes. She's getting ready for the next tournament. But Boa, who has become overcome with fear on her own. This is another one on her own. This is natural. She also becomes overcome with fear. Attacks Queen. They have a big brawl. Queen wins, but takes a serious wound and wakes up, and the tournament has passed. X is champion, and everyone who wins is called X. But since no one knows this guy's name, his name is now just X because they don't have a name to call him. So it can be a little confusing because like Boa was just X, but now X is X. Yeah. And then Mickey's like, "Hey, you deserve a vacation. I'm a kind man. Go on vacation." And she takes Lucky Cyan with her. And then a kaiju shows up. Anyway, we got to move on. We can't be talking about that.
Yeah. We got to go further back in time now.
Forward. We're going forward. Come on. With some flashbacks.
No, we're not.
Yeah, no, we're not.
We're going back.
We're kind of like repeating the same time frame over and over again right now.
Yeah,
it's true.
exactly.
We're going not... back to around the beginning of this.
Yeah, it's like okay.
All right, along with all the arc stuff we've already kind of mentioned, the fight is visually awesome. Maybe one of the best that doesn't have the constant animation changes along with it. It's really cool. I also have a note that the chanting music in it was really good. I even noticed the background music.
Was Boa able to resist Queen's commands?
No. Boa had a fancy head on her axe that she could whip around on a chain.
Okay, that just doesn't make sense because later on she literally keeps a building from falling over. Like, why wouldn't she be able to control that fancy axe? That didn't make sense.
Because it was outside of the dome.
Yeah,
yeah, but once it comes in to hit her, it's going to freeze.
She wasn't.
The circle wasn't on her. She can project the field to someone else. Like she just made a field around Boa to freeze her. Boa seeing it coming through the axe, so the axe outside of the
swung around
and it hit. I'm pretty sure I didn't say anything physics breaking or rules breaking.
Yeah.
Not that, and I'm probably the worst person to say that because that, like, when it starts getting cool, I stop caring.
The only thing I kept thinking was, holy crap, Boa just has way too much control over those whip-like axes. Because that would be insane to try and control those. But hey, maybe that's her power somehow.
Yeah. Well, she had her own power at that point because she was controlled by fear. So she didn't need to worry about...
She had new power.
Yeah, exactly.
Boost.
Yep.
Any other thoughts on this arc before we move on?
Probably the best arc out of the whole thing.
Pink and yellow.
Well, it's second. I did like the first one, but first best.
All right. The next character for the next arc is Loli, whose real name is Luli. I think it's pronounced Loli. Anyway, your thoughts on Loli.
I did find it funny that we first meet her as a small child and her name's Loli. So it's like, okay, that's a little on the nose.
No, but her real name is Loli.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm just saying, a little on the nose.
But it's L-U space L-I.
Sure.
L-U-O space L-I.
Yeah,
sure.
that.
Yeah,
Luli.
that.
Luli.
Obnoxious. Best way to put it. I understand I want to be taken serious as a hero. However, I don't understand why she couldn't embrace the fact that she was adorable and be a hero. Because obviously you could do both. There were plenty of other heroes that were doing the same thing.
Well, I know.
What do you mean no?
It's because of the weight scene when she was lifting weights at the very beginning, and then as soon as they saw that she was cute, they was like, "Oh, she's too weak to do that, and she needs to be protected because she's weak." And so
right, and that's not how trust works, by the way.
Yes, it is.
No, okay. So if I've got a trust value of 200 and I'm lifting weights, and then 4 people see me and it goes down to 196, I'm not gonna immediately I can't lift the weight anymore. That's not how
it happened. her trust value went up and shrank her muscles because they believe she's weak and cute. You get the power they believe you have. If they
But it was
believe
like
she's weak
4
and cute,
people.
and it shrank her muscles for the day. Like everyone thinks she's
Okay.
cute and helpless, and it makes it impossible for her to be a hero. Her trust literally weakens her.
Do you
That's her
realize how
problem.
chaotic of a society you'd have if trust worked this way?
That's the point of the whole thing. Yes, that is
No,
100% what they're talking about. That is
no. Like
spot
just for
on.
regular people, not heroes. I'm talking regular people. Like you
Yes.
see a barista or you see somebody working out at the gym and your thoughts, your stray thoughts influence their reality. Do you realize how chaotic that world would be? Like you
Yes.
could not have, it would be anarchy
Yeah,
because
society would fall apart.
yeah, it just wouldn't work. So they can't, the power can't be that fickle.
That's what I'm saying. If 400 people see her a particular way and she has a particular amount of strength, and then 5 dudes that are standing around her go, "Oh, she's so cute." Her muscles are not going to shrink that much according to the system they set up.
But no one thinks she's strong. That's the point. Although
So
there's
then
no
she would
400
never
people who
have
think she's strong.
then she never would have been able to lift the weights in the first place. She wouldn't have even been at the gym.
Well, it's the same way that the other guy gets OCD,
Be-
even though he never had
eh,
it. It's the limitation comes in.
On his eyes turn blue, and the
No,
one
no,
guy can't
okay.
bend his knees.
But that only
Mhm.
happened after he blew up on social media.
Right. One person having an opinion didn't change him.
That's my
But we
point.
see
lots
The people's
everybody in her life feels this way.
But not
We see-
everybody in the world was in that gym with her. That's my point.
Right, then she
Everyone
wouldn't have been
who
able to
has
lift it at
trust in
all.
her, everyone
Was
who has
in that
trust in
gym?
her, feels this way about her.
Okay,
Then she shouldn't have been able to lift it in the first place.
That's what I'm saying. If everyone has this vision of her, and then she's got a particular weight on the bar, and then her hair comes out, and 4 people see her as cute, she's not just going to instantly lose 20% of her muscle mass.
I mean, if she only has 8 people who believe in her, then it'd be like half. Why do you think 400 people believe in her?
Because she's got more people in her life than what were in that gym, I assume. I mean, maybe not. Maybe you're right. Maybe she's only got a trust value of 1.
No, we see her for like 4 friends, her mom and her dad. We don't really see anyone else in her life.
So she didn't go to school. She didn't go to doctor's appointments. She didn't have
I'm
friends.
just saying,
It's
clearly
I don't
a
like
visual
the scene.
representation of the limit that the trust is putting on her.
I understand the
like, what's
story
going on
beat.
here?
I just don't like it, is what I'm saying. And I don't think it fits into the system that they established.
It 100% does. And it's super important for where she ends up as a hero because she's the antitrust hero.
Well, it fits, but it's disproportionate.
Correct.
I think is the issue.
I think the scene is, I get that. Like she went from buff to skinny with one gym.
Yeah.
I get that. But the overall, hey, I'm forced to be weak because I'm cute and pretty and tiny and petite.
Mhm.
When she wants to be a badass Rambo Queen boss. I mean, she's inspired by Queen. Like, I'm going to do that too. I'm going to be just like Queen. People see Queen and are like, that's a Dommy mommy. But they see Loli and they see a Loli. So
well, but I think that's where it. So this is one of the arcs that Tanya had trouble with too, because she's like, wow, I'm really tired of hearing cute girls complain about how cute they are,
Right.
and how horrible and difficult it is for them that they're cute. Like, this is pathetic. There are a lot of superhero girls that are cute, and even in this world, we see other hero characters that show up later that are female to try and kill X.
right.
And they're little and they're cute, but they have powers and they look scary. And then
But
also
she wants her powers to be strength based. She wants to be
like
Rambo. That's why
yeah,
she dresses
exactly.
up
So
as.
she's like, I want to have a certain type of super. I want to define it, which is funny because like Esol defined it. Commoner defined it by becoming nice. He was already kind of idolizing nice in a way. So he kind of defined it. These other ones like Ghostblade defined it by being a good butcher. So I think if she could demonstrate it, then demonstrate that she is strong somehow, I think she would gradually get that. And her suit
Which-
kind of does that, but just all
Yeah.
the whining about being cute was really grating.
It was off-putting.
I like that it
Mhm.
wasn't. It's because I'm female, because there's clearly powerful, strong.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Boa's this huge woman, and there's
Yeah.
not. Hey, women can't be heroes or anything like that. It's literally my body frame, the way I
Mhm.
look makes everyone decide I have to be a certain way, and I want to be the way I want to be, and I love how that ties into where she ends up as a hero. I love that there's a hero who's can't be affected by trust or fear. That's so cool in a system where, like, hey, we're all stuck in the system. And she's like, yeah, I put on this armor and I am what I want to be based on my own skills of being able to build it
Yeah, she's
and
Tony Stark.
what you believe.
Yeah.
Right, but again, it rejects the trust.
Yeah.
You cannot force her to be anything with your trust. She's immune to the system, even though she takes it off and it clearly would be affected anyway. And she has a lot of trust value because she's in the top 10. But I like that the
Mhm.
suit is, which is mostly your powers can't work on me. Your powers from trust. But I also like that it would work for her too. I just think it's cool.
It's interesting that as powerful as her suit is, it doesn't ward off a 15th level hero. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's still pretty good for her, but I'm also wondering why more people don't just, regular people make suits.
Well, and I think by the time she gets to the
They say she's
tournament,
a genius and has a genius scientist dad.
it's well, not just that, but like from the moment she starts building this thing, she's continuing to iterate and get better and better and better. So I think by the time she ends up in the tournament, it's probably stronger than when Nice
Oh yeah,
got
for
at her.
sure.
So
Mhm.
spoiler.
Yeah.
I like Lily. I like I like a good fiery jerk face of a girl.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, I
I'm a
thought she
fan of
was
her.
I thought she was fun. That was the
She was
only thing that
spunky,
was
yeah.
like, yeah, my criticism.
All right, so we get the scene that I'll agree doesn't specifically fit in within the rule set. 4 guys in a gym shouldn't literally shrink. What were pretty good muscles. They're just a little
Yeah.
ripped.
Mm-hmm.
And we get a flashback. Her seeing Queen's speech as a little child, being like, "Mommy, I want to be like her." Her mom would be like, "It's so cute," and she's like, "No, I'm not cute, Mom. I want to be tough." Dressing up like Rambo. She goes out and beats up her bully with her own crossbow invention. And then the bully is actually, I'm in love with you because you're so cute. Here's my confession. And she's like, no. And even her best friend is like, hey, he starts reaching in a bag. She thinks it's a confession and runs away. Eventually, she comes up with the idea, I'll use my dad's laboratory. I'll build myself a suit. In which she builds a cute pink bunny suit. Probably not a great idea, but whatever.
Well,
and
she
sees
complains. She's like, I don't want to be cute, but I love pink.
And
She
it's so
loves-
funny because she's also like, I'm not gonna cut my hair. I like long hair. I want to be cute, but nobody can call me cute.
She wants to
It's more
look
that she
cute, but
wants
she
to-
doesn't want to be perceived as weak.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
She doesn't want cute and weak to be tied together, which in public perception,
Yeah.
in this, it is.
Sorry, kid. That's how
Yeah.
it works. That's the chemistry of the brain.
She it builds a suit, saves this girl from stalkers, and then the stalker and her fight, and the stalker's super good at fighting randomly. But when her helmet gets knocked off, the stalker apologizes and runs away. Her dad finds out about the superheroine and is like, "Hey, don't do this anymore. Now come to my lab where you can build anything you want." It worked for
Yeah.
me, which she
I
does.
thought-
And her best.
I thought the dad handled this way better than in other stories. Like, I thought this was a very
Mostly,
measured
yeah.
approach. Because it's
And
like, okay, I'm not going to stop my daughter from inventing things. At least if I bring her to the lab, I can have it in a controlled space and I can oversee it, right?
I always
he
felt
did
his
not do.
Right.
I always felt his choices were reasonable. Of like, hey, yeah, you can come, but you're just gonna stay here in the safe space. And she's
Right.
like, I don't want to be there. And he's like, just do that for me because I'm your dad. And she complains about other characters without dads. Are like, you're so lucky. So I did like the dad in her relationship, despite her. I mean, she's a teenager.
I think the dad was one of the most reasonable people in this entire anime.
He was. He had.
Yep.
We'll get to it in a little bit, but he has the best line that I was like, "What is this, Jeremy writing?" All right. the girl she saved ends up working at does work at the same lab. They team up on the suit. They become good friends. They go out for drinks. The stalker's there. They yell at him and tell him to die in a ditch. Her friend's older, and actually, this is Nu Wang. Her best friend is Nu Wang.
Apparently, she's only
Jason?
18, but 8. What?
That was why I called you that, because there's a character in this story.
Nu Wang. Oh,
Nu
that's
Wang.
you, Jason.
That's you.
I have a new Wang? What?
Whoa.
Memory of a goldfish. He doesn't even remember what he's going to do to this podcast to alter the editing anymore. Okay. They go. The Nu gets drunk. They go back to the lab.
At
The lab
18,
gets
by the way.
attacked.
Apparently, that's
They're
a
of
legal
age
age.
where they are. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not that abnormal in the world. Lab drunk. Former ex-hero DJ Khaled. No, I just wrote he's the DJ hero. He wears a disco ball on his head and he can hypnotize you with music. He attacks the place because they're doing research on fear here. This is the Glimmer facility? Glimmer Laboratories. And yeah, he basically makes everyone help him. And the two girls also get a call from the stalker, and then
I love that how they help him is by breaking everything, dancing wildly, and smashing things.
Smashing stuff, but getting him where he needs to go. And now I'm calling a timeout in the story because we have this big meeting of the CEOs and the Heroes Council, who we've been heard referenced, and we've seen these CEOs, but this is kind of where we see them interact and all of them together and with the Hero Council. So we have, and you guys can talk. We're just going to talk about them in groups. So anyone you want to call out. But there's Rock, who's now the CEO of MG. There's Mickey, the CEO of DOS. Shang, the CEO of Treeman, and Zach, who's the CEO of FOMO. Your guys' thoughts on these villains?
So it finally kind of started clicking here that the council? No, what's the overarching
The
one?
Heroes. There's the Heroes Council.
Yeah,
which
so
is
that's
the
a governmental agency.
Yes.
Yeah, that and then the rest of them are just
it might be commissioned.
Commission. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, Heroes Commission is a governmental agency, and to actually come to find out, their goal is we want to just remove trust and fear.
Yeah,
we want 0 heroes. We want everyone to go back to normal.
Too dangerous. We don't need another god.
Which is, I mean, I agree with them. I feel like that's
Right.
the right choice here.
Because the government's like, we should have monopoly on violence, and you guys need to just cool it.
That's not it.
Well, no, that's the point of any government, right?
I
The
guess
people give the government.
Yes, let's not do this.
Okay. Anyways,
not this kind of podcast.
but that's their goal. Let's be honest. Anyways,
fight the power. Sorry.
Freedom
I got
units.
caught
Wow. No, it's interesting to see that there's like, it's not just these 4. There's a ton of different agencies that have their own. They're just management. They're just PR management companies, basically. And I like
outlets.
I like FOMO because it seems the most accessible to the public. The other ones seem like closed off corporate agencies, and FOMO's like, oh, we've got a fun app you can talk to each other with, and anybody can get on it. Just have a free account. So that was interesting to see that dynamic.
Yeah, these guys are all horrible.
They're all horrible.
Yeah.
They are so horrible. The commission is like, I totally can get behind what they're trying to do, but man, they play underhanded games like the best of them with the CEOs. They're just right in there in bed with them.
Yeah.
Rock is horrible. But he, we learn that he has his own agenda. He's trying to bring
horrible
Zero
with an
back.
agenda. Yep.
So he's got a purpose. Mickey, I don't really know what's going on with Mickey other than, he's connected to Spotlight, and that's the oldest, biggest company.
He just seems like to love the chaos of the the hero life. He just
For the love of the game.
pull strings. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I know that Mickey has a media company. You could argue that Zach has a media company with FOMO because that's what the entire thing's based around is social media. And then there's that scene where Mickey and Treeman, Shang, are talking, and he's like, between my media company and your media company, we can paint this however we want. So these guys, yeah, they are propaganda outlets. So that is so horrible. Like, we control the heroes and we control framing the heroes. But that's kind of what you would need to do in order to address the fickle nature of hero powers,
Yep.
right? And the trust value. So it does make sense, but at the same time, like, knowing Mickey's connection to Spotlight, since the journalist guy is Spotlight, basically, is running Spotlight, that means that Mickey and Doss are behind the fear breakouts. But there's also Treeman, who's behind the fear breakouts, because we see him multiple times with.
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
Doss and Treeman are the two doing experiments with fear.
yeah, and they're trying to achieve different things with it. Although not necessarily, because the Glimmer Labs, was that a government agency, or was
Yes.
that part of? So Glimmer Labs was a government agency trying to suppress fear and trust
Study it.
and study it. Okay, so there were 3 different groups trying to study fear. Zach seems the least hateable from actions that we've seen, but I think that's just because we haven't been privy to his actions. He's totally fine sending little Johnny to his death. He's totally fine sending the heroes to die and just watching chaos. He like creates chaos. Very casual.
He's also, from my understanding of, it's like little snippets here and there. FOMO changed the world because it used to be like, oh, that guy did something heroic, was on the news, now he's our hero. But now, everyone's a social media star. It's basically almost a commentary on influencers of like, hey, we can now just create celebrities out of nothing at any time, thanks to, and that's what FOMO is. It's this social media that's making trust values bounce around like crazy, causing tons of chaos. Shang is on a revenge quest for the death of his son. That's almost the most understandable, but he's literally driving men to first. It's all assassin and killing, and like he's burning everything to get what he wants. Mickey, you could argue Spotlight is trying to expose heroes for not being as what they project themselves to be, but they're experimenting on, look what they do to DJ and all the horrible stuff. And I do think Mickey's has any good motives inside. I could buy the Spotlight, the reporter, honestly believing he's doing stuff for good. But Mickey just seems like, oh, I'm loving everything we're doing. The fact, like, he sends Queen on the vacation right in front of her dad. It's just pure, like, I can do this and I love it so much. And
now
then
Mickey
Rock,
is
trying to build a
Queen's
god.
uncle, right?
I don't think they're related by
not
blood.
Just that those two are so close. He's basically an uncle to her.
Okay.
Yeah.
One other thing that I discovered is that Spotlight is a subsidiary of Mickey's company, Doss, and they create villains for Doss's heroes to fight. That's part of what Spotlight does.
Tree Man is doing too, but they're pretending. They make pretend villains, whereas Mickey is making actual fear villains.
Actually, Treeman's making real fear villains as well. That's why he says to Nice, remember it's fear that got you your powers. Because he's creating, because remember, he's got that split guy in the tank, and he turns the split into like multiple copies of himself out there that the dog has to fight and others do when they're stealing people's deeds.
Phobia clone. Yeah.
Phobia clone. Yeah. His original name before he died was Split something or other.
Okay.
But yeah.
And as far as the commission, I think it's social commentary, but especially coming out of China, whether it's the corporations or the government, yeah, they're all against each other, but they're all on each other's team, and no one's on anybody else's team. We're all just pawns, which, it's in the OP. You see the chess pieces fall. It's very clear. Everyone here is just a chess piece. What I like about this story is we're getting to this point. It's really coming to light that every one of these heroes, villain or hero, good guy, none of them matter to the power of the CEO and the government.
And most of them are
I like
just following orders.
just fine.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Don't do that. All right, all right.
Don't do that.
Basically, through a lot of hijinks, eventually Loli puts on the suit and faces DJ. His hypnotism doesn't work on her, and that's because his hypnotism comes from trust, and she's wearing her suit, so she's able to resist it. She knocks him into the fear. He gets slightly infected, but she also picks up a thing, and her scientist dad, when he arrives, with Ghostblade, who's been sent by Rock, who, I'll send a guy to help. Don't worry, I got guys. They'll go. This is he's not assassin. Don't worry about the knives.
Yeah.
Sends Ghostblade
Obvious
to help.
assassin is assassin.
And this is where scientist dad, who has a name, but I don't write it down, presents to the commission. Okay, there was a spaceship, and I didn't check the metal of the spaceship, but apparently it rejects trust and fear. We need to get this stuff. Can I please go get them?
This upset me so much at this point in the story. I was
That there's a spaceship, and you found out at episode 14?
No. Okay. Dad works for the government. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've investigated the spaceship before. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why is there not a government facility that's not only built around this thing, but then there's guards around it? Why isn't it's a space? This is from space. This is an alien craft. The government would have way more investment into this thing. The fact that it's just sitting out in the desert and no one's around is ridiculous. What a stupid story beat. Sorry,
I
had to
also
get that
think
off my
it's
chest.
crazy that I also think it's crazy that the government doesn't have their own superhero branch. There's no way they would not say, I want my own competing superhero branch. CEOs can't be the only ones.
But
that
they
have it.
control the CEOs.
Not very well.
Yeah.
Right.
But when they
that's
give
the-
orders,
hey-
the CEOs have to follow. I mean, it seems that way.
Okay, but then the CEOs send their heroes in to assassinate and against the orders. So, like, if you as a government had your own heroes to protect and ensure that your orders were carried out, you would do a better job.
But if the government doesn't care what happens to those heroes,
They cared about suppressing trust and
Maybe it's impossible for government working heroes to gain trust.
Oh,
that's a good point.
I mean, this is the only way
I
to make
doubt
it
it.
work.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I think that if you do good with your press, you could make anything work, but it might be harder.
Oh, we just like stepping all over these landmines tonight. Okay. Yeah, she beats DJ, but he goes to his employer and they're like, "Oh, we got more experiments to do." Then we come to any other thoughts on the Loli arc? I guess I should comment on Jason's UFO thing. I don't have anything I disagree with it. It just doesn't bother me.
The whole next arc of the battles inside the spaceship don't make sense if there was a government facility. Like that whole entire thing would have played out differently. I didn't like it. Didn't sit well with me. Like you're telling me that there hasn't been multiple teams to go investigating some weird alien spacecraft and then they're developing new technology off of it. Like that is government 101 in these kinds of stories.
They said they tried. No, they went in and did a bunch of looking around. They've been in there, picked it clean. He said, I didn't test the whole. I was testing all their technology and looking at all the stuff in there, but I never looked at the outside.
Sure, but I just don't think the government would give up.
We'll just leave it abandoned in the middle of a forest.
Yeah, no, I don't see that.
They would build a 51st area to really keep it on.
There would be military there. There would be just Sully and would be there.
Yeah.
What
Mulder be
what
investigating.
Right.
what military do you ever see in this anime?
Okay,
point.
just because I don't see it, you're telling me the government doesn't have military anymore?
I mean, when there's people who can fly and shoot lasers out of your eyes, does it do anything?
Yeah, maybe the government stops having even a policing or military branch.
So-
Everything is reliant on heroes.
So national security and
Has been
National Def-
privatized.
national defense just doesn't exist anymore.
Right. No, it does. It's
Yeah.
privatized, which isn't a good idea, but it's
There's not
out of
nearly
realm
enough
of
heroes
realism.
for that. I don't.
Yes, there
there's-
are.
Oh,
We
there's
don't
not.
really know.
All those
we don't
heroes are
really know
taking
how
care of
many.
stuff inside this country.
We don't really know how many heroes there are. We also don't know how big the nation is. Like I don't
They
really
call
have a
out-
grasp on the size.
They call it a single airplane falling out of the sky is abnormal in the world of heroes. Like it's
Right.
so weird for a hero not to be able to catch that because they're so available.
I think the issue that I have is that I don't understand to what degree the whole plating resists trust, because there are other instances where they use their trust to like do damage to it, and it takes damage.
Like a laser or a punch. I think a punch would
Punches,
be fine.
flying through
Electricity.
it, smashing it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but if your punch is boosted by the strength of trust value,
Right.
what does it mean that it stops trust? Like it slowly reduces the trust value, so the impact of the punch is lessened.
Yeah, she
That's
did
the
mention
impression
that
I got
I'm-
from Loli.
She said I'm siphoning his
and
trust out,
wearing
didn't she?
down.
And-
yeah.
All right, Ghostblade. We need to talk about Ghostblade.
If the government doesn't have an armed forces, it takes me out of the story even further. But anyways, go on.
My hero. Oh, they did. They had a police force at least. Anyway,
I think it depends on what the role of the government is at that point, whether the government intends to do any protecting or whether it's just like an economic monitoring and balancing of those things. But it can't enforce anything. It relies on its CEO heroes to do any kind of enforcing, which is kind of an impotent government because someone else has to be its muscle. But that's the only way I
mean-
could see it working if they didn't have it.
when the spaceship crashed, they sent one hero to investigate it first. Like they didn't send the military, they didn't send an army, they
they
just
sent
sent
Shang.
in. They sent in Shang.
Yeah.
All right, Ghostblade. Your guys' thoughts on Ghostblade?
I identified with his early life so much, where he just wanted some peace and quiet. It's just like that. Yeah, I feel that. But
Yeah.
yeah. I did like that, everyone saw him as the assassin he was, so much so that he could not speak anymore. And so he had to find the love of his life, who also just didn't speak. She just texted. Like texting I do is amazing.
That was
That was
amazing. I'm
so
like,
funny.
is she still on her phone? It's so ready. Oh, okay.
That's them.
I hated that. I hated that.
I thought it was terrible, but I thought it was hilarious. I also liked that he had to continually gaslight himself that the people he was murdering either deserved it or there was a very good reason why he was doing it in order to keep his own sanity and not to connect with the people he was killing. That, and then also like, I love my daughter and I need to make sure my daughter's safe. At the same time, I'm gonna go murder this kid's dad. He would talk about a complex character. Obvious sociopath. If he hadn't have become a hero, he would have been a serial killer. Very
Sociopath catches feelings.
right. Yeah, it's just super interesting character. Definitely in the morally gray area. Like
Anti-hero, I would say.
he's definitely bad guy in some spots, but he does some good guy stuff. Like Yeah. Really cool character.
Yeah. I liked all of that. His story was great, but he is the kind of character where if he dies protecting someone or valiantly in the tournament, I will be okay with that. And I think it would be fitting for all the lives that he took. But I think that he should go out doing something good, like finishing a redemption arc. He deserves that.
Yeah.
And I like everything that happened with his daughter. It was funny. I actually that was another one where I was watching. I was when we saw Ghostblade walk by. I was like, "That's the stalker, isn't it? He's got the same like he covering his mouth. It's like that's it." And so that was funny to see that revealed as well. I really enjoyed the split of the car ride with him and Johnny too, where you got to see first from Ghostblade's perspective and then later from Johnny's perspective. And just seeing how both of them, I know it's arc, but seeing how both of them had
I like
issues
that.
internally with their inner dialogue of like how how they were both struggling in their own way with the circumstance. Neither one was accurately perceived by the user, like or by the viewer. If we're watching either scene, it would be very easy to misunderstand the one who is not speaking or is not the person we're hearing the thoughts of. Um, and that was really cool, and I thought that gave a good glimpse into Ghostblade even at that time. So
Jeremy,
very
don't do
tragic.
this. Jeremy, don't do this thing. Oh, okay. I know I'm not supposed to do this thing. Anyways, I'm gonna do the
I'm gonna
thing.
call it out. I'm gonna call it out.
He didn't just do the thing. He also went to the next arc a little bit, but he tried to bring it all around with and that's
right.
how I feel about the Dragon Ball character.
That's
Yeah,
right. Just
nice,
tack that
nicely
on the
done.
end.
Let's put a little bow.
Thank you.
The Ghostblade story starts, and I'm like, okay, another villain. Good, we need one. We need some more villain built up. We've only haven't had one. We have not had one since Cecil. And then we go into the wife, and the wife leaving him, and I'm like, oh, this is not going the way I think. He's my favorite character. He's so good. There's this layer of complexity. Yeah, he's morally great. He's not a good guy. But I was watching this one, loving how it's connecting to the last one, but also just thinking this guy could be the star of a whole anime himself. He could have 12, 24 episodes to himself talking about this life of I'm a
I wish we
killer
had.
of men who now has sentiment and empathy and feelings because my kid grew up. Yeah, I loved him. He's great.
Yeah. I wish
It
that was the
doesn't
anime we
seem
watched.
it doesn't seem like he has empathy for anyone else yet.
No,
Just
little
A
Johnny.
little bit, yeah.
He didn't kill little Johnny when he could have.
barely any
Literally,
hesitation.
literally saves him.
Literally.
Well, he saves him, but I think that may have been a calculated, like, I don't know what the situation is here now. Better not to kill him until I know.
And Johnny knew he was there.
Yeah.
He was along with Johnny. I think he could have. He had
he could've.
more than enough chance to finish his real mission.
I think he saw a little bit of his daughter in Johnny just because it was like dad, Johnny, him, his daughter. He's spending all this time with his daughter. He's getting a softer heart.
I mean, he clearly will still kill a guy who he thinks is deserving of death, but I do think he's at least starting to ask himself, why am I killing this person? Does this person really deserve to die?
I
it
think
seems
his
to be the start of that.
yeah, the start of it for sure, because him leaving MG was definitely, I think, the moment where he's solidified that new mindset.
Also found it interesting that Rock saw the wavering in him like way early on. And he's like, yeah, I better send some backup.
Except for he's wrong. Yeah, he's wavering, but it's only because he's distracted with his daughter being there, and Ghostblade's doing this because he wants to get close to his daughter, and Rock is thinking he's betraying me. Like he's
like,
gone
he never volunteers for a job. That's
right. Like
yeah.
And he even says to doing the recap. He even says to Soul, he knows about the alien and he's gonna ruin everything. We gotta kill him right now. Um, when Ghostblade could not care less about what is in the spaceship. He just wants to spend time with his daughter. Anyway, story, the actual story. Flashback to Ghostblade's life. Very crowded, busy family life, and life of a butcher's kid. And he hates all the noise, and he loves killing pigs. Because it
Got to
makes
put his hand on their forehead to calm them down and make them release some dopamine, and then.
But that's just to make him quiet. Not. It seems like it's empathy. No, it's hey, shut up. I need to murder you.
It does make them taste better too, though, because fear hormones make the meat sour.
So he grows up to become a hero thanks to FOMO.
Hero.
Signs with MG, and then meets his wife, saves her from a villain. But she never gets off her phone. Wedding day, stays on her phone. In the hospital from some random medical emergency, stays on her phone. Finds out she's pregnant, puts the phone down for the first time ever. Next thing we know, he's having a talk with his wife. We need to grow and evolve and have a big family and move in with our parents. And he's like, "Oh, this is the worst." But he also can't talk because his super powers come from he's the strong silent type who never has any emotion.
Why doesn't he have a
even
Why doesn't he have a pad and paper?
he can't even feel though. Like he's not sad she's leaving and he knows he should be. Anyway, his daughter's born. He wants to be a part of his daughter's life. Starts learning about her, especially because he gives her a gift and he's like, "She's way too old for that. What are you doing?" So he starts stalking his adult daughter. He's the stalker from the last story. He's even the phone call. There's a hint, and I completely whiffed on it. Rock calls him, and his phone is busy.
Yeah.
Right after the stalker had called Nunu. And that's your big hint, and I missed it completely. He was busy on the phone calling his daughter.
One of my favorite things is like, "Are you an assassin?" "Oh, no, I'm a hero." "Oh, what's your hero name?" "Ghostblade."
Yeah. They
we
never see it coming.
We see basically all the story that we had just seen with Loli, but now from all Ghostblade's perspective. Eventually coming to hey, we're going to send a commission or a bunch of scientists out to survey the spaceship and collect the materials to resist trust and fear. And Ghostblade volunteers because his daughter's on that mission. Little Johnny also gets volunteered by FOMO to come on this mission. So Little Johnny will be there. Loli tracks the stalker, attacks their car. Eventually, everyone comes to camp, has a bunch of awkward conversations where everyone's convinced he's in love with this 18-year-old girl, and everyone's okay with it.
He's an adult.
Not the stalking. He's old enough to be her father. And because he can't talk or express himself, he's not able to correct it. Love the scene of him eating the squid. Didn't understand it at all. Because they're like, "Hey, give her some squid," and he just eats it all up almost selfishly. Find out later she hates squid. Everyone starts crying about their parents and about their sad sob stories, and even Ghostblade starts crying. And he realizes that no, that's not right. So he goes investigates the forest, and fear-induced DJ is there, and so Ghostblade murders him.
Absolutely destroys him. I felt bad for the guy
with a steak knife too. Not even like assassin blade or anything.
And to think that DJ was once X. Like
he was X.
He was the number one.
His daughter finds his journal, learns that's her dad. Never says anything about it, but it clearly changes the relationship going forward. Little Johnny disappears, and then that's the end of that. And we go to Little Johnny's story. So, any other thoughts on Ghostblade's arc, Jeremy?
I liked it a lot. I did think that it was kind of weird that we were getting everything from a flipped perspective. Just in the sense that like it was well done, but in the sense that okay, we're seeing the same events over and over again. Because it happens again with Little Johnny. And there were times where I was like, did this really need to be done?
Can we move on?
Right.
Over and over.
I do feel it in Little Johnny's, but I very much enjoyed it in Ghostblade. I thought they did a great job with the pacing. Like they show the fight again, but it's a very brief version of the fight. It's like only 2 or 3 shots instead of the entire fight. Yeah. No, I was fine with the recapping. Little Johnny's though I felt went a little too long.
Yeah.
Little ham.
Yeah, I thought the first arc's my favorite. Ghostblades is second, right up there though. It could easily take it. I think maybe just because of the CG art and an extra 2 episodes to flesh it out puts the first arc over the top.
Mhm.
Little Johnny, your guys' thoughts on Little Johnny?
If Easel's story is at the bottom, it'd go Lucky, and then it would go Johnny. I could not stand Johnny.
Oh, Easel.
Yeah. What'd I say?
I expected that.
You said it right. I just
Oh,
I
okay.
can never remember Easel's name, and I was like, "What is that?"
Oh,
I'm tired. It's a long episode. We got to keep going.
yeah. No, I did not like his, like, I felt bad for him, like the whole, dad dying. But man, he fairly whiny. His constant positive attitude was grating, and
Don't those conflict a little bit?
Why is
He's
he whiny? Why is he
but
positive?
always positive.
well, okay,
Hate LA, and I hate both of them.
right. Like, maybe he wasn't so, like, as a little kid a little bit, but like, I don't know. They were trying to do
your mom
this.
died, you little jerk.
They were trying to do this cutesy character with like this serious tone, and it just clashed, and I didn't jive with it. And like, his relationship with the alien is, complicated. I mean, I don't know. I just it didn't sit well with me.
I did not like Little Johnny until we got his backstory, and even during the backstory, I was kind of like, he's a take it or leave it character. Like, I did not connect with him. I don't care about him as much as I do about, say, Commoner or even X. I'm more interested in what's going to happen to X than I am in Little Johnny. He very much feels like a side character.
Like, what's his power besides I have a monster?
Throwing
I throw a boomerang?
a blunt tomahawk and a boomerang.
What is he, from Australia? Like, what's going on?
I think he can talk to animals.
Well, people did wonder, can he talk to animals? Can he talk to Big Johnny?
I think they believe he can.
They may have
so now
believed
he
it.
can.
Yeah. But
and
like,
how is that helpful on a explorer
exactly.
the spaceship mission?
It's
right.
not.
How's it helpful in combat?
Oh no, I know it was
Not.
to go murder him. I understand that.
Right. Yeah, he was an assassination target.
He's never been in combat.
Right.
Until this moment.
Till this moment.
It was the first time.
He sells plushies. That's why FOMO keeps him on the payroll.
Yeah.
They don't send him on missions, and they're like, "Oh, you can go out to the spaceship."
Yeah. And I do remember like that one scene where he was in his room and he was depressed. I thought that was actually the most interesting scene with him, because for a moment there you saw him not being jovial and smiling and having the fake plastered on smile, just like nice later when that's brought up. He really is just a mascot, and that's rarely him being genuine or sincere. It's just a persona that he puts on to sell merch. Which that's kind of a deep cut for influencers in general.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I was okay with him for that reason. I really thought they were all gonna die in the next episode. So
he definitely has a little bit of that. Even when he's an adult, he has a little bit of that little kid energy.
Yep.
I think take him or leave him is where I'm at as well. I don't hate him. I'm gonna enjoy the story we're about to go through, but the character, it's a little immature. It's a little, he has a bit of a grading. I don't like, it's nowhere near as bad as you're making it out to be, but I can see why you have so many extremes for like, hey, this character is slightly annoying. I hate this. How dare you have a slightly high-pitched voice and talk about stuff?
Stop being excited.
I like Big Johnny though. Big Johnny's awesome, especially the implications. Like I said, I think he's powered up by anger, and does that something that could happen for everyone? Is that only a species?
Or maybe he's just
The
an alien that can do
the
that.
fact that they're like there's aliens in this universe, and I'm like, it's a superhero universe. There should be magic and aliens and all that mixed together, so I'm fine with it.
A multiverse.
I like Big Johnny. All right, the story. I also missed the part where Ghostblade murdered a man at the beginning of his story, who,
Right.
out in the woods.
You missed that?
Yeah.
I didn't mention it. Is what I mean.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we see Johnny's father investigate the spaceship, get jumped by an alien, bring it home to his dying wife and son, and his son after his wife has died. And he's a healing hero, right? So it also matters that he tried to heal his wife out of her sickness, and she still died.
Mhm.
He's number 2, and
Didn't he get in trouble for resurrecting somebody?
it's implied there's issues with him that people are.
Like, I think Zero
Problems.
killed the hero and he raised him. I forget who. At least I
Okay.
thought that's what it was. And that's why they were like, okay, we can't have a hero that can raise
Do
our
that.
assassination
It's
targets.
too much.
Like,
Little Johnny bonds with this alien. They move out to a broken down cabin in the woods. They fix it up. There's a montage of their life of growing up and they're bonding with the Johnnies. Little Big Johnny's just a nuisance all the time, but he gets bigger when he gets in danger. When he's angry, it doesn't matter. He gets bigger and scary.
he's Hulk.
Then one night, the current number 1 hero X, whose name is Vortex, comes to the cabin and is like, "Hey, I need you to join me. If I'm going to beat my nemesis, I need a healer on my team. Please come back." He's like, "I don't do that anymore. I could heal your hand cut, but I'm not like a healer anymore." And he's like, "No, you still have plenty of trust value." He's like, "I don't trust in it, so it doesn't matter." Then, but apparently due to the alien thing, Ghostblade is sent after him and murders him. And Johnny finds him and makes the connection. Vortex was here, now my dad's dead, so Vortex did this. Big Johnny turns into a kaiju and attacks a village. Vortex shows up and protects the village, and then the kaiju and Vortex have a fight. The kaiju wins, but little Johnny's able to Big Johnny shrink down. Everyone's like, "Oh, he defeated the beast that he's currently carrying around. How does that work?" But it doesn't matter. We trust him. He's the hero. And Vortex got badly hurt and he's in the hospital. Little Johnny confronts him. He's like, "Tell me about my dad." And he's like, "You're a little jerk. Get out of here. I don't want to talk to you." And he's like, "Well, I am going to make you talk in the hero tournament." And then years pass and Vortex is dead.
He got on a plane.
No, he caused the plane crash in a
Well,
fight.
Because he died in the same plane crash.
Yeah,
But I
so
don't
it's
know
implied. So what the public's perception is that he was on the flight
On the plane.
and then the plane crashed. But I think you're right. I think he caused the plane crash, but he happened to die because of it.
Which is why they're covering it up, right? That they can't let everyone know that a hero pulled a Homelander.
Which is why they were like, it's so strange that it went down because, well, Vortex should have saved it.
Right. And so Johnny's lost his purpose in life. He was raising up in the ranks so he could confront this guy and get the truth, and now the truth is dead. And that's where he complains about being a mascot. He gets sent on the alien mission. We get all the travel with Ghostblade scenes and the camp scene again. Again, it was a little bit long. Then the fear hits the camp. Everyone starts crying. He starts having hallucinations. He sees the residue from Ghostblade's battle with DJ, and the cuts remind him of all the cuts that killed his father. And he freaks out, hallucinates, and then wakes up the next morning. And the scientist is like, "Hey, sorry about that. There's an organization called Spotlight that is weaponizing fear. That's why we really got to get this tech." Anyway, let's all move on. Oh, and there's a great scene where Ghostblade chops a carrot badly, so his daughter will come over and show him how to do it, and then he shows like he's an expert knife, and of course he can do it. But that was cool. Also, little Johnny's like, he's good with knife blade, cuts. My father's dead. I shouldn't think about this. And they go to the spaceship, and Rock calls Ghostblade and is like, hey, kill little Johnny and big Johnny, so because we don't want because his dad made Big Johnny, and we don't want that to be a thing.
That's what he thinks. Yeah.
That's what Rock tells Ghostblade, and he's like, then he turns to Easel. He's like, Ghostblade's distracted. He must know it's really an alien. You need to go do something. We don't see that till a little bit later. But anyway, little Johnny, they go to the spaceship. It's all broken down. That scientist dad, Lola, you stay out. Where me and this unprotected other girl, 2 years older than you, will go in. It's his daughter. It's fine. They go in. Little Johnny and Big Johnny fall through a hole. They're like, Ghostblade, go help him. And Ghostblade's like, just gonna make it that easy. All right, whatever.
Yeah.
Goes down. They reach the pod room where Big Johnny was found. Ghostblade attacks, but he attacks a rock which Esol was hiding behind, and now it's a assassin battle. At the same time, the scientist dad and Nunu run into Nice, just hanging out creepily in the spaceship. He's also an assassin there to clean things up, and we get a big battle between Loli jumps in and she battles Nice while Ghostblade and Esol battle. Esol wins.
Again, Esol is way below Ghostblade right now. Ghostblade is number 5.
Right.
Esol is not even in the top 10.
Right.
So the fact that he defeats him is crazy.
Then Loli beats Nice, but when she gets out, her dad is murdered and her friend is being hurt because there's a third assassin. It's the clone guy. He's there too. And she goes nuts and starts beating up everybody, like beating these clones to death, starts beating on Nice when he shows back up, tearing her own suit off and throwing it at him, whatever it takes.
Cool.
At the same time, Big Johnny is going crazy and turns into a kaiju. But also, then Queen shows up because she was driving by, saw the giant kaiju.
She's on vacation.
She's on vacation. That Mickey sent her. We see the scene of Mickey being like, you should go on vacation. And the dad being like, that's the alien that we just, oh my, why are you doing this? Yeah, she stops everything. And because Big Johnny likes Queen, he turns back. They save Little Johnny. They save Ghostblade. His daughter ends up in the hospital. He quits MG. Nice is given credit for helping instead of being an assassin
Defeating
there.
Phobia clone. Mm-hmm.
Helping defeat Phobia clone. And Loli just puts flowers on her dad's grave.
I really
Anything
thought
else?
all of them were going to die. I thought, oh, this is the end of Loli and Ghostblade and Johnny.
Because of this incident, they cancel the tournament that's coming up. So X has now won for 3 tournaments in a row, which is unprecedented. Yeah. Which is very much by design. They don't want anyone to be number 1 for too long. The whole point is you need to climb and then fall. So this is a problem for them, for the commission. And then we see Dragon Boy, who's our next story. What do you guys think about Dragon Boy?
Screw this guy.
His power set's weird. It's not fully explored. Okay, he takes damage and then he gives it back. How? It's never shown. Like what? He just I don't know. Anyways, I didn't like
him.
A
battery, kinetic battery.
It's not the first time this powers existed.
No, it's not that. It wasn't that. It was. So when he takes so much damage, he goes into his dragon form, and then he can do his fire punch. Is that it?
Yeah, it seems if he builds up enough energy, he can go to his dragon form.
I wonder if that dragon form.
Because that's not what he said. He said basically he stores the kinetic energy and then he can burst it out. But that's a weird interpretation of that, in my opinion. I didn't like it.
But he did both. He did do punches that were twice as strong as all the punches he just received. And then after taking a lot more damage, it was like, okay, now I'm in my Super Saiyan form.
He was also injected by fear.
And there was fear in him.
He expelled it.
That's where that form came from.
No, he expelled the fear.
could have gotten in him a little bit, but I think it's just a form he can get to if he takes enough damage.
Yeah, he said
But
specifically
he's
that fear
black.
didn't affect him.
If I was wrong, I wouldn't be that surprised either, Jeremy. So it's not like I see exactly what you're going for too. But
Yeah.
I think
He
just
didn't even look
what we're
human when he was
told.
in that form. And the only way he got back to it was through a snap from X. I don't know if he could get back to his regular human form without that.
All right, we're talking about Arc again.
Well, no, we're talking about the character.
You went into details of events, but
Yeah, his attitude sucked. He was obviously picked by Rock to be an assassin,
because he was on FOMO,
right?
found him their FOMO again.
Yep. But like we spend like half an episode with him, so it's like, okay, hey, I guess there's a character named Dragon Boy. Let's move on.
It's another villain, but the weird thing is
It's
that
just so many
it's hard-
characters.
Well, it's hard to see these as villains when they're standing next to the heroes. They're called heroes. They're in the hero tournament to find out which one. Like, as far as everybody else is concerned in this world, they're just heroes. They're not villains. And that's the part that grates me a little bit. I don't like my villains to call themselves heroes. That's especially not all of them. Like, that's just bad taste in my mouth.
Well, then here the word hero has no meaning at that point. It
Yeah,
just means
well, I mean,
powered
it's because
person.
It's all propaganda. Like,
Yeah.
you know, because they create fear.
Almost like the point of the story.
Villains, right? They create fear-based villains in order for their heroes to have villains to fight against, but their heroes are just more Homelander garbage heroes. And
I will say, I think I mentioned that in that first half review. I did find this trope to be something that's been done before. Like, we've looked at corrupted corporate-owned heroes. It's not exactly a new thing. Again, because of the presentation of the power system and the storytelling, I like this. But yeah, it's not like, oh, what if Superman was corporately greedy and owned by Microsoft or Amazon?
Yeah, all they needed was like, name, like NASCAR suits.
Yeah.
Heck, Mystery Men did it back in the 90s.
And Watchmen. I mean, to a degree.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm fine with Dragon Boy. I agree we don't get a lot with him, but we need a brawler villain because we've kind of created a lot of brawler superheroes. We need someone to go toe to toe and a good candidate for the Zero program that Rock is doing. So his power set really fits into that of I want to give everything into you, and he's the guy who literally takes in damage. So yeah, I'm good with it. He's fine.
Of the guy though, like everybody's trash. He just wants to kill all the trash, take out all the trash. Like Rock doesn't seem to care about what the god he creates will do. But then there's also like some hints that may not be what's going to happen.
Right. People keep mentioning
God.
People keep mentioning Zero isn't gone, and I don't know if it's a metaphor that because Rock believes in him, he'll be able to create a new Zero, or
Rock
will
Zero.
be able to,
or is Rock Zero? Yeah, because
that's what they said in the last episode.
When X
he didn't
was
die
talking about how X is not dead, it faded to Rock, and
he's the statue in that final.
I was wondering if because he's like someone is worshiping. But
that's Rock.
Okay, that didn't come across.
Rock's father created the original Zero, is what they said. And then when Zero fell, Rock took that personally because he believed in him and is now going to bring him back. And it's not clear if it's literally or figuratively.
So the way I took it was Rock is Zero that fell. He didn't die, but he lost everything. And now he's trying to raise another god so he can then transfer that power back to himself.
I even thought that because X has two different personalities, well, not personalities, but he's got his civilian and his hero, right? I kind of thought that he would very easily refer to other people as two different entities. So like saying that Rock and then also X, or not X, but Zero that could just be the two sides of the same coin as well.
I- Jason, if you're looking up your theory, it's not out there. There's no proof yet. However,
Okay.
I can see where you're getting that from. There's nothing. I don't think he could be the exact same person. I do think Esol killed him, but I think it really fits in with the Esol experiment of can I transfer someone's trust over to another person under the same name. I think that has meaning, and so I think you're close, or at least like to think you're close. But I'm not ready to jump on your theory.
I think it might be a mix of the two, or at least okay. So from what I'm seeing, you're probably right. He's the kid of the guy who created Zero. However, I do stand by that. I think he's trying to make a god so that he can transfer that god power to himself.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
I'd be fine with that.
that makes sense.
I'm fine with which either way he goes. I like both. Whether he's just trying to make it because he wants that to exist, or I could do that. That'd be cool for me.
Yeah, because there was one thing that he said. There was a little kid that wanted to live in a world created by the rules of Zero.
I do think. Well, I'll wait till we get to that. All right. Yeah, Dragon Boy. He's fine. Most of you guys don't like him. I just think he's kind of one note at the
Sucks.
moment
Terrible.
because
Yep.
you don't like the idea of. Is it the character who sucks, or just the idea of a hero who's actually villainous? Those are two
Just the
different
character.
things.
I didn't
Okay,
like
that's
his
fine.
character. I didn't like his personality, and I didn't like that there
Mhm.
was now another character to come. And also, I had a bad taste in my mouth from Nice just showing up because I'm like, I haven't seen anything about Nice until like an episode ago, and then like all the way back at episode 1. So I'm just like, I don't care about this character anymore.
I could not disagree more. I was so excited when Nice was in
Yeah.
that room.
I was too.
I was like, "Oh my god, it's connecting! It's all
Yeah.
coming
I was-
together."
I was
That's
like,
what
oh my
watching
god,
this
it's
for."
Homelander.
Except for
No,
he's not.
I mean, except
was
he
like,
was
wait a
there
minute.
to murder, and he's this Superman-like character. It's like,
All
okay,
I kept
here we
thinking
go.
was maybe we're finally gonna understand why he killed himself. That's what I wanted to know. I was like, is this why he killed himself? Because
I was-
this thing that he partook in?
I was interested to find out why he had such bad depression. So
Mhm.
this was obviously leading to that.
Yeah.
All right, Dragon Boy. He
Sucks.
we meet him.
Kill Smile.
He talks with Rock. Rock sends him on a mission to go kill Smile. Okay, there's a character in this whose name is Smile. He's the ever smiling superhero. He's like Superman, but in a stupid yellow costume with emoticons on it.
It's amazing.
Who then incognito goes and visits another superhero wearing a jacket with not smiley face emoticons on the back to hide his identity.
But it
It's like
has
a
one on the
straight line.
shoulder.
There is a smile on the shoulder. It's hilarious. He looks just like his superhero persona.
Yeah.
except
Just
for
without a
it's like
cape.
it's so good. And actually, he goes and visits X, a buddy, because Smile has been a superhero for a while now. He's actually the oldest guy in the top 10. And they talk about, and X is like, everyone wants, he's like, the commission has ordered you to be killed. And he's like, I want to quit. Like, I'm getting bored. This is a little too much for me. And then he's like, you got a good, you're always smiling. And he's like, I hate smiling. I just can't stop smiling. They're drunk at this point. He almost starts stripping. But then he goes home. This is when Dragon Boy attacks him. But also we have seen a scene of Nice being yelled at by his boss. Like, hey, you messed up. Now go do it again. Go do this. Here's a vial of fear. Get it into Smile.
Whoever loses.
Oh, I thought it was
wins.
specific. Okay, so
So
Dragon
no,
Boy,
whoever won. You're right.
Dragon Boy attacks Smile, and even though he uses his powers, Smile is able to still be winning. But then Dragon Boy calls out Nice, "Hey, get out here! I can see you hiding." And then Smile's like, "What are you doing?" This is literally Nice is a kid he inspired to become a hero. And he reminds Nice of that, and Nice injects Dragon Boy, but Dragon Boy's power lets him spit the fear out on Smile. He gets corrupted, beats up Dragon Boy more, and then fights Nice. X shows up, and oh no, because Smile gets beaten by Dragon Boy. Dragon Boy goes Super Saiyan and beats him, and then
Beats him, kills
Nice
him.
attacks Dragon.
Yeah,
Yes,
one punch guts everywhere.
I was gonna get to that, but you're right. His guts are showing on the ground. Nice and Dragon Boy fight. X shows up and defeats Dragon Boy by turning him into a piece of trash and throwing him in the river. That was pretty good. Come on, the guy
was
who yells at
awesome.
everyone for being trash, X literally turns it on. And then Nice breaks down when he sees that Smile is dead. And then we see the scene of him standing above Lin Ling about to walk off the building. This is, I don't think it's just that, hey, I was doing evil.
No,
oh,
not
he
yet.
gets
That didn't happen here.
Shang yells
He
at
has-
him one more time.
He has one more thing he does before he does that.
But he gets some fear on him from the duplicate,
dog.
right? Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's
Oh,
coming
it's
up.
yeah, it's the end of Ahu. Okay, that's the end of Dragon Boy's story. Ahu, the doggy. You guys,
Yay, another character.
Mhm.
He was good boy. He was great. It was
Is
good.
it because you're a goldfish and you can't remember them all?
That's part of it. Absolutely.
There's only 11.
There's more than that, but I understand what you're saying. No, yeah, good boy was good boy. I liked Ahu's story. And I liked his conflicting when he was in doing the press conference. Like that was good.
I was trying to figure out whether he had trust value when he was in the circus,
He did.
because he did. Okay, so he's
Yeah,
had
'cause he-
trust value before.
Yeah, he mentions that he kept getting stronger and stronger as people liked him in the circus and he hated it. It's the same thing that like a bunch of the other heroes are having a problem with. They're like, I don't like to smile, but now I have to smile all the time, or I want to sit on the toilet. I can never sit. Like,
Uh-huh. But for
Ahu
him,
was
it
going through the
was-
same thing.
I don't want to throw axes and dance, or just I don't want to be touched.
I don't want
by
to be a
people.
clown, but people love me being a clown. And I get stronger being a clown.
Yeah, so I thought he was really cute, but he was another character where I was like, I could take him or leave him. I think he got a lot better in the X part, like in the last two episodes or the last episode. I enjoyed him more there.
He has the same voice as All Might and Piccolo and Vegeta.
Yep.
And that definitely helped a lot.
Mm.
Especially being a pit bull.
Yeah, just this cranky dog. It's a one episode, really quick story. I liked him well enough for what it was.
Yeah.
And kind of where he serves in the story. The fact that he's even on there is ridiculous. The expansion of the lore. Okay, this can jump to animals if the conditions are right. All right. I didn't think he got trust until
He had all the symptoms of trust while he was in the circus.
I was trying to figure out how he could do the things he was doing in the circus without trust, and I
He
can't
lit-
see a way.
In his dialogue, he
Man.
literally said he got stronger as he did the things and he got more popular. That sounds like trust to me.
And
Alright.
that's why I was having trouble believing that his trust value had dropped to 1 just because he bit a child.
All right, just to sum up real quick, one of his fans buys him after he bites a child in the circus and makes him the protector of the neighborhood because Tree Man is using their realtor company to force a bunch of people out of the slums so they can buy the property and build this nice fancy building that we've been seeing advertisements for all over the city.
Wait. Doesn't that mean that she believed in him because she was his fan already?
I don't know.
So that means that her number should have never left his thing. And so it was at 0.
Or he didn't have self-trust.
That's what I was wondering, is if the 1 was not her, but it was him believing.
It definitely seems it turns on when he comes to a belief.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, we skipped over Jeremy's line. Scientist
What?
dad walking in the spaceship
Oh.
going, we can't have a power system built on feelings. That leads
Yes.
to anarchy. You need to have science.
Yes.
I was so happy when I heard that.
Like, oh, Jeremy wrote this. Okay. Anyway, yeah, they fight clone phobia clone over these contracts. X ends up saving them. The technical demo trailer for this anime is this scene in 3D. And it was crazy to me. I like this new art style they did for this episode, this boxy look, and how it was kind of, and they did some really cool action shots. But I was like, oh, here it comes. And then they didn't do
no.
the trailer. And I was like, oh, this is not as good. It's still good. It's just not as good. But yeah, so X saves him and then leaves. He does get the power and beats the last clone after Nice shows up and it's like, oh, actually, I'm with the bad guys. The girl gets hurt, but Ahu gets famous. He takes all the credit for beating the bad guys, though it doesn't give any to X. So his ranking goes up. He's able to talk now thanks to his power, and he visits the girl in the hospital, and everything's good.
Why would people believe he has the power to talk just because he defeated some?
Because he was
bad
wearing a
guys?
hat.
Yep. Talking dog.
You think he's,
Feels like a stretch.
It could have also been the videos that she made of him. I don't know if she had anywhere she dubbed voices for him.
Yeah, we only just saw the one.
I do
but
like
maybe.
how she tried to fake his powers to get people to
That was
give him
great.
powers. That was pretty good.
And I loved people's responses where they're like, "An AI would do a better job at these special effects." That was really.
I went over the story quick, but I did really like this one episode story. This is a quick little snippet. It's very predictable, but it was fun.
Yeah.
Last guy to talk about, X himself. Thoughts? Do not say he's not going. Jeremy, your thoughts on X?
X is amazing. X is so cool because this whole time, like, we still don't know where exactly he's from, what the extent of his powers are, what his objectives are in detail. And the guy has, he's got his civilian form, which he seems absolutely bored in, and no one seems to notice him in. He's like the guy
most
that
generic
disappears while they're training.
businessman. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He just walked down the street invisibly, and then he's able to just shift into this. But there's something about timing he has to worry about. Like, he's always got alarms that he's messing with. His coin matters. Like, there are so many interesting hooks about him as a character. And then knowing that on a broad stroke, his goal is essentially to, it seems like, eliminate the or break free of the hold that, like, the commission and the CEOs and everything are trying to enforce on everybody, and just be his own man and do his own thing, maybe break everybody else free. But he also has knowledge that other people are not aware of about Zero, and about, like, he can see what's going on, can shift perspectives into other dimensions. Like, there's just so much about him that is on another level. Like, I'm part of me also has the theory that maybe he is Zero, but probably not, because he doesn't talk about himself as Zero. But it's just, he's fascinating, and the way that he just playfully, like, even in his combat, when he catches the dog, whips around, and then throws the dog back at the bad guy. Like, there's so much style and personality in everything he does, and it's great.
Go ahead, Jason. You want to sigh again?
Imagine watching the newest Superman, and we get to see him for the first 2 minutes of the movie, and then we just follow Lantern and Hawk Girl for the majority of the movie, and then the last 10 minutes of the movie, here comes Superman. That's how this felt. He was the coolest superhero. He had the most interesting power. They had the coolest animation sequences with him. He had a great personality. He has a really cool goal I would like to see fleshed out, and I get 5 minutes with him.
Yeah. Well,
I was so upset. I was so upset. So upset. I was just like, what are you doing? What?
Anyway. Setting up a really cool season 2.
I'm not interested. I don't want to see it. Like, they've completely lost me because, like, I have no hooks.
I think there's a lot of hooks, but I think there's also,
I'm exhausted. 24 episodes.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I get him for one?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they killed off the best ship in the entire anime on episode 4, and then they don't even address it till the last episode. I feel like I'm complete.
Other episodes, it hadn't happened yet.
I'm continually being rug pulled and thrown characters I don't care about.
So this is a good spot to bring up one of the things Tanya and I were talking about, because she says, I've seen Thai soaps, Japanese soaps, South Korea soaps, Chinese soaps, and she says it's very consistent that at least in her experience, the
Oh, soap
Chinese,
operas. I thought you were talking about
yeah,
soap products. I'm like, what are you talking
yeah,
about?
no,
Okay.
soap operas and stuff.
Okay.
It's very consistent. She says I had to like give up watching it because it was never getting anywhere. She says that just the stories, in her experience at least, the stories that she's seen, they just meander. Like they never reach a destination because the trip is what's valuable, and making your way there is more interesting than actually finishing, culminating, solving the story. I don't know if that's going to be true here, but based on our conversation, at least her opinion was that in the second season, they're going to do more wind up and more storytelling,
Oh,
but
good.
still not give you a payoff. That's her estimation.
The director has said that the second story is more narrative driven and more
Mm.
that this was mostly about setup, and the next one is about paying off.
With
Okay.
more characters. They're probably going to introduce like 15 more.
There's one. There's at least one.
There's
We
gonna
see
be
him.
the shooters, right? Like we gotta see the Cowboys. They couldn't have put them in the intro, and then like they didn't do anything with them. They were just like on the news as like, oh, there's a scandal. He cheated on her.
Okay,
And then
gotta be
during
on.
the X chase scene, more heroes show up that we've never
Yeah, they
seen
did.
before. It's like, okay,
yep.
fun. Those guys are probably going to be what season 2 is all about.
Yeah.
they're not. What do you?
Penn and Teller leaping around.
Sherlock and
I'm
Holmes.
I'm so
Is
upset.
that who they were?
They
were
look
the
like to
Ruby
me.
Duo or something.
Yeah, they look like a Sherlock and Holmes dude to me. I think X is awesome.
X is awesome.
I agree. We were all waiting for him to show up, but I think once he showed up, it paid off well. Again, one of my biggest things is I wish they'd use the art changes for just him rather than
Yeah.
earlier before. Hey, it's a
Agreed.
fight. We're switching to 2D animation, unless they had some reason for him to be doing it, but they don't. They're not connected. They were just doing that for style. It looks great when he does it. I think his purpose is to take down Rock. And since Rock's kind of nestled in this group of we control everything, he's up against everything. But Rock is the problem of the world, right? If Zero comes back, any version of Zero, we're in trouble. And I respect the guy who's like, clock's over. I'm not doing overtime. I am out.
Why is he get to leave? Wait, he left?
Who is he?
Who was
Yeah.
here?
Ooh.
I think it's cool. We don't know much about him yet. We get a little bit of his backstory in the ending credits, which is crazy. And I'm excited to see where they go with him.
Okay. Glad for you.
Okay, let's finish the story. So the tournament is almost here, and Ahu has taken upon himself. He's like, I will deal with X. Send me in. And because everyone has been told X is the next Zero, we have a Zero problem about to trigger. We need to stop him from participating in the tournament. So Ahu's like, I'll do it. Instantly gets turned into a cartoon 16-bit
So
dog on the
awesome.
wall. And then he talks with X, who's still in human form. And X is like, yeah, it's not what you think it is. Things are different. And then they're attacked by the commission and a bunch of different heroes. We get just a really cool, constantly animation changing fight. It's actually on YouTube. You can go and watch just that. If nothing else, that's worth the watch.
It was great.
Then they go to a bar and X offers the truth of reality, which he kind of shows how all these events have actually been linked together, and it's mostly Rock pushing towards Zero. It is literally dominoes falling on dominoes, and they've all been propelled together from Little Johnny to Vortex to Lucky Cyan. We've seen it, but it also shows you the connection, and it shows you some of the inner pieces, like Rock finding Isol online through FOMO.
And apparently aliens have nothing to do with this.
That we know of.
That was the thing that blew my mind. I was just like, what?
the one thing we don't know the event that triggered Trust becoming a superpower
Yeah.
generator. And there was clear they talk about there was an incident and then things changed. Um,
But why
what I
explore
think
that?
is
We have
real
more characters to explore.
what I think is really interesting in the series, we get told the story of Zero's fall 3 times, and it's different every time. Rock blames the people, the commission blames Fear, and X blames Zero that he just went mad with power, and started killing heroes who went against him and kept doing it, and eventually they had to stop him. Um, which X seems to be the he can break reality. He's probably the one telling the truth. But it is interesting that no one has the same view of what happened that day. Um, then at the end of once morning hits, X takes Ahu to the tournament. He jumps out in front of everybody and reveals his true identity to the world out on the stage. Now, what's interesting is that
Nice is not dead.
Nice is there with cracks in his face, as is Commoner, Lin Ling.
Commoner don't have any cracks though. Yeah.
And Esol is not there. I believe
he got bumped out.
He's bumped out because of what happened with Moon. I think.
Well, he's bumped out because he got voted out on Billy. There's actually a release announcement about that.
So they did change the story?
That makes me so happy. Just because it probably irritates Joy.
It does because. So you brought it up at the beginning. It's not something I'm a fan of because you should have a story that you're going to a destination. Now, if we're bringing back Nice anyway was part of the story, or this doesn't actually change any of the story, I'm fine with it. Because like Queen's in number 2, and she wasn't number 2 in the Billy at all.
Right.
She should have dropped in ranking. So it's not like everything has to match that ranking, but if it's affecting a little bit, it's gonna have to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Then we get ending credits. We see X's backstory and a new character and trailer for season 2. All the heroes teaming up to fight someone in the sky with fear minions.
I kind of wonder if that is Nice. Because
Nice is
purple.
No, we see Commoner and Nice both fighting in that battle against the minions.
Oh, really? Nice is fighting them too?
Yeah. Queen is there too, because I was like, it's a woman. And I'm like, maybe it's Queen, but Queen's there fighting. My theory is it's the female head of the commission.
Oh, she's a hero. She has crazy fear power.
Well, would the community have trust in the hero commission? So would that all go to the head of the commission and she could use that? I don't know.
Could be.
That's a wild theory. It's really hard to interpret it because it's also showing the past and the future. Maybe the future, alternate future. Who knows? X got his powers because of a girl with fortune telling cards. Somehow. All right, let's go to
who shows up because there are a bunch of giant cards in the sky.
Yep. Maybe it's her. Oh, I hope not. Also, there, like I said, there's a new hero. I could see them making him like this the main focus for the whole next season. Like we just stay with this one character as he bounces between all these characters we've set up.
That's the one in the colorful like jacket.
Yeah. I don't think you can make X the main focus of a whole season. I think he's too expensive to animate.
Yeah.
Difficult. He's got to be short doses.
It's too cool.
Yeah, reality's reality, man. All right, let's go to final reviews. Jason, you're
up. Beautiful visuals. Whether it was the 2D overlay, the full 3D, great work. The voice acting's really good. At least for the dub, because that's what I watched. A few of the characters I really connected with, I really liked. I have huge storytelling problems, and the majority of the characters I just did not give two hoots about. I found the anthology style didn't fit well with the puzzle they were trying to create. For me, I didn't connect with it. I didn't like it. And I felt that retelling a bunch of scenes from different perspectives, the majority of the time it wasn't too bad, especially Ghost Blades. But once they got to Little Johnny, it was exhausting. It's just, it was too much that I don't care about shoved in for long periods of time, and too few of the stuff that I did care about, and then you didn't pay any of it off. So it's a 2 for me. I didn't like it.
I liked it. Everything you said was right. I think about like art. Even the sound was good, except for the music. Okay, that's kind of a funny statement. Except for the things I could understand. Um, I really liked the combat. I thought it was awesome. The choreography of the fight sequences were really good. Some of the arcs just some of the anthology stories were just really weak to me, I guess. Like Cyan, I had trouble with. Isol, I just really didn't like him as a character, but I can't hold that against that one. I don't know. I have very mixed feelings here because mixed thoughts because I know that I'm going to keep coming back to these characters and various scenes because it's already been happening. And that usually doesn't happen to me with anime or movies in general. Like once I watch it, I get it, I'm done, I've moved on. But this is one of those that just the scenes, a few scenes just keep coming back and haunting me. And that's I got to give it credit for that. So um I am so torn. I have to give it a 4. Part of me really wants to give it a 5, but there is enough here that I have to complain about, especially that ending being such a cliffhanger that I got to give it a 4.
I'm coming in at a 4. I don't think it's perfect. I think some of the stories are weaker than others. I think there's some really strong ones. I'd say overall, for all the stories, they come in at about a 4 at the average. I think my biggest issues are tonal. Like the Ghostblade has some really silly sitcom-y stuff when we're dealing with an assassin who's about to murder people and chop them into little bits, and um, is trying to reconnect with the daughter. There's some dark stuff there, and they're going full on slapstick, and you just want to date this girl. I can tell. Um, I think, and maybe it's Lost's fault. I'm fine with blaming Lost. But I think audience have decided that cliffhangers are bad, actually, and I don't agree with that at all. I think cliffhangers work in a lot of ways. If you go into this anime knowing that it is the first half of a story, then you're not caught off guard when that hits. If you're like, oh, okay, here's all my resolution, and then they're like, okay, we'll be back next season. That's tough. And when we watch these things, we don't know this stuff. We don't know if this is just 12 and done or part one of 100.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be just. And I was watching this last episode. I was like, okay, answers, origin story at least for X. Okay, I assume we're not resolving all this. It can be the origin story for X. And they do that little preview at the end. I'm like, is that it? Does that give me what I want? Is it right to demand after 24 episodes? I am fine with what they did because it was creative and unique way of storytelling. I've seen a lot of anthology stories. Mushu did a great job of linking it all through one character through random separate stories that weren't connected. This almost does the opposite. It's a world that's connected and all the characters are separate, and then you find out they're linked. I love the way it all paid back. I love the way that details inform things that you didn't know before. You do have to really keep track. We had, a week off. There was definitely some stuff I had to go back and refresh. It's not going to be for everyone. It's not perfect, but it is unique and different, and that's what I look for the most these days. So 4 for me.
I
All
think
right, we're wrapping. Okay, you don't get a rebuttal.
I wasn't gonna rebuttal. I was gonna say I because like both you give it 4s, and I'm like, okay, what could have made it better for me? I think if we didn't continue to like go further and further, or like the way it was done, if we went to Isol's thing and then we worked up the Isol then killing Moon, and we found out why that happened and like what led that to there, and then what like an episode or two after that, I would have been thrilled. Like that would have really like solidified and like packaged that for me, but that we didn't get that.
But we know why Isol killed Moon.
Why?
Because Rock ordered it.
But why?
To mess with Tree Man, his rival company. We don't know this very specific, like what part
Exactly.
of this plan, but
We don't know the specifics, and that's what's bugging me.
why do you need the specifics?
There's got to be a particular reason for the goal, right?
Right. We know Rock's goal. We know that he's at war with Treeman, and Treeman's at war with him.
Right.
So
Well,
there's
Moon-
enough there.
Okay, but Moon was out of the picture. She was not a hero anymore. She had no trust. She couldn't even get back off the island. What purpose did it serve to kill her?
Commoner.
Commoner, clearly influencing Commoner. He's
To-
about to give up hero life to be with a girl,
Except
and now the
he's
girl's gone.
wait.
I don't know that he was actually gonna.
Yeah,
like he was.
I don't
talking-
think
I
he
think
was-
he was going to eat his cake and have it too, kind of thing.
Yeah, he seemed to
Prior-
like being commoner.
Prioritize something for the tournament.
Exactly. That's the problem, is that you're guessing, and that's my problem. Is I don't want to guess. I want to know what his plan was.
So if the next season answers it, then all is forgiven.
I don't like waiting that long. Especially
Well, I
after
can understand
24
that
episodes.
if you
If
have
it was 12
24
episodes,
episodes,
if it was 12 episodes, I'd probably be okay with waiting for season 2. The fact that it was 24 and all we got was a little snippet, we have an unsolved murderer at the last episode. No, thanks. Sorry, I don't mean to
Also,
continue this, but
Doesn't Ghostblade show up in the last shot of that scene? Don't they? When they reshowed it,
yeah.
didn't
When they
Ghostblade jump
reshoot.
in?
He jumps in and he's fighting Esol in that. Yeah, in the very. But so there's like a lot more happens in that scene that we didn't see in episode 4.
Right.
Do you know that this is a 2?
I know there's a
show?
second season planned.
But will there only be 2 seasons?
No, I don't know that.
Okay, so if I knew for a fact that there was just going to be a second half, then I would be more forgiving, because I'd be like, okay, first half is set up, slow burn, meet everybody. Second half is we're going to town, we're going to have a crazy time and finish things up. But if I don't know for a fact there's only 2 seasons, they could stretch this perpetually.
I will say that I think a lot rides on season 2 because this is a build-up season, which I think they've done a great job of that, and by being entertaining while doing at the same time. But they do have to pay it off, so there's a lot riding on season 2.
Yeah, there is. I agree with that.
fair enough.
All right, if you have, oh wait, next anime is nope, I wrote
It's that
bad
one
word.
with all the words in it.
Clevatess.
Yeah, not yet.
Please.
It's not hasn't finished airing.
Oh no! No,
What do you
don't
mean?
pick it.
What? Oh,
The
that
one
one.
with all the words.
No, Clevatess has, but
Tired. We've been doing this a long time. If you want to contact us, listen to one of our other podcasts. He'll tell you how to contact. No, website, the Anime Baka Club, at Baka Podcast, the YouTube comments, comment where we found it. We gotta go.
5-star
Let's say
review.
goodbye.
Thanks for listening.
Later.
Sayonara.